the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The off-season is over. Drivers are ready. Fans are ready. Our broadcast crew, they're ready. Racing from Daytona coming up next. FS1 welcomes you to Daytona International Speedway for the QQQ 300 Xfinity Series race. It is the start of a new season, and it is time to meet today's guest driver analyst, Brad Keselowski. He spent some off-season time with his wife, Paige, and Cup crew chief Paul Wolf, hanging out with Wolf's family, and daughter Scarlett learning about a different kind of horsepower. And there, she's so cute. No, guys, this is not Brad and Paige's new pet. This is them at the zoo, just enjoying a little bit of family time. But now it is time to get back to work. We know Brad started off Speed Weeks with a win in the Clash. He's upstairs with Michael Waltrip and Adam Alexander to call today's race. Do you guys see who I have here? Did you see what I got for Larry McReynolds?
We needed a pair of the glasses up here, Shannon.
This is what he looked like, obviously.
I know it's not the way
older.
the song goes, but we're going to party like it's 1998.
Yes, we are. We're going to have some fun up here in the booth, no doubt, because both of these guys have won here at Daytona International Speedway. So as a driver who's been to victory lane here, what is race day like at the World Center of Racing?
It's nerve-wracking, right? It's the first race of the season, Adam. So what does that mean to me? Well, I've been here. I've ran this race as an Xfinity-only driver and as a Cup driver. Both of those will be in the field today, but it's the first race. You got all those first race jitters, Michael, and it kind of feels like, you know, you're going on your first date. That's how it feels, you know. You're nervous. You don't know how it's going to go, but you hope it goes really well.
That didn't go so well for me my first day. I didn't like that. But my first trip to Daytona was one that I'll never forget. Being here and being a part of this event is amazing. But just think if you're Austin Dillon or maybe Joey Logano, you woke up this morning, you had a solid plan. You knew exactly what you were going to do. You were going to start up front and you were going to stay there. Now they're going to have to battle from the back. That means playing a little poker. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. They'll lean on their experience to see what the traffic looks like, what the draft looks like, and make a plan to get to the front.
Brad, you told me earlier today you like Chase Elliott, right?
Yep.
So, Michael, where are you going?
I want to go in a different direction. I think Elliott Sadler is angry behind the wheel. I think he thinks he's got to charge and get a win today. He was close 2 times last year. I'll take Elliott Sadler against
Both
you.
Junior Motorsports cars. 4 of the last 8, Junior Motorsports.
We've got a Chase Elliott, we've got an Elliott Sadler, and a bunch of hungry young guns getting set to go green at Daytona. Let's go trackside and get the command.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome our Grand Marshal, Managing Director and Global Head of ETF's Invesco, Dan Draper.
Daytona and NASCAR fans everywhere, you know the word, so help me say it. Drivers, start your engines!
That'll get you going on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon in Central Florida. The season opener is on the way, so let's get geared up.
Hey guys, it's Ryan Reed. Austin Syndrich here. I'm the noob. He's the noob. I guess which makes me the veteran, which is really weird because I still feel like a kid. We just finished up in the Xfinity zone and the Ford zone. It's a lot of fun hanging out with all the fans.
A lot of people here today. Beautiful. 75 degrees. It's hot. I need sunscreen.
You ready to go today?
I'm ready to go. Ready to push me to lead?
Yeah, we'll see. You know, I'm feeling like there's gonna be a lot of teamwork going on early on, and then at the end, I've won here twice, and I'd like to make it a third, so we'll just have to figure it out at the end.
Should be good.
Thank you.
What do you want me to do? Who we talking to? Am I doing it or you do it? You
Cole
do it.
Custer.
I'll check it.
Okay, I'm watching you.
Hey, Cole, it's Michael and Brad up in the Fox booth. Do you copy?
Yeah, I got you.
When we get back from commercial, we're going to hit you up, buddy.
All right, sounds good.
Have fun today.
Thank you.
We're Fox today, right? Just making sure.
FS1.
FS1?
Yep.
Okay. I see Fox NASCAR everywhere. Okay.
Yep.
It got me spun out for a second.
I don't think you
Yeah,
can
I'm with
go
you,
wrong
Pam.
either way, my personal opinion, because we are Fox NASCAR.
That's true.
But This is all about getting a trophy in Daytona, the best trophy in all of NASCAR.
Every lap, it just gets more intense and more intense.
Drivers, start your engine!
If you want to win at Daytona, it stays with you the rest of your life.
We open up 2018 in Florida. And when we wrapped up 2017, we were in the Sunshine State as well. Homestead Miami Speedway, where the rookie, Cole Custer, absolutely dominated, leading 182 of 200 laps en route to his first career victory. His sophomore season rolling off from the 14th position today here at Daytona International Speedway. Let's go from the driver's seat with 00. Brad?
Cole Custer, this is Brad Keselowski up in the FS1 booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Great. Well, you're looking pretty good in the Haas Automation Chevrolet. Your Ford, I should say. You finished 2017 in great form with a win. You got to be thinking about championship in 2018. And today in Daytona is your shot to set a message. How do you feel about 2018?
Yeah, I mean, we're all pumped to get ready and get it going. We seemed to end the year strongly, really good last year, and we worked really hard on our Speedway cars this year to try and get them driving better. So hopefully we just stay clean, stay out of the wrecks, and be there at the end.
Man, this is Michael Waltrip. Cole, you were so fun to watch down in Miami, running 1 inch off the wall all day long. It takes that kind of quiet confidence to be successful here at Daytona. What's your strategy today to get a trophy here in Florida? Is it to charge, or are you going to lay back?
I think starting out here, we're going to try and go to the front and see what we got, and hopefully we can stay up there. But we feel like we're kind of mid-pack, and we're getting to the end of the stage. We might try and drop back just because it seems like last year we had a lot of wrecks at the end of the stages. But we'll see. I think we're going to try and make it to the end of the race here at the start of it.
All right, buddy. Have a good time today, and we're looking forward to following you to your championship march.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Cole Custer, one of 7 first-time winners in the 2017 season. Looking to go back-to-back today in the Powershares QQQ 300. What a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Daytona Beach, Florida. Aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. Those who live up to their names make one for themselves. Goodyear, more driven. Regan Smith won this race in 2014. Now he's a pit reporter for us. Let's get Regan's wrap. Hello, Regan.
Thanks, Adam. You know, one of the toughest things for a race car driver to do is to come back to a racetrack that he's had a bad accident at before. In 2016, Christopher Bell got turned coming out of the tri-oval. He barrel rolled 9 times down the front stretch in one of the worst wrecks we've seen in recent history. Today, if he's going to go out there and compete and get up front and do the things he needs to do, he's going to have to compartmentalize, put that wreck in the back of his mind. He told me once the motor starts, he won't even think about it. But I assure you, if the caution comes out late or a red flag, he will think about that wreck just a little bit.
You always think about it when you wind up on your roof. We talked down in the pre-race shop. I've won here a couple times, but I remember vividly being on my roof, and that's uncomfortable. This is the biggest race of the year, and to end in the care center certainly isn't the goal.
Well, the good thing he's got going for him is he comes from a dirt background where they race the midgets, and those cars flip all the time, so he's got some experience with it before this.
We've heard from Regan Smith. Let's say hello to our other pit reporters. Leading us off, Jamie Little. Always good to be with you, Jamie.
Always great to be with you too, Adam. You know, Joey Logano is a guy we always talk about when we come to Daytona. Well, he qualified 4th today, but during those qualifying laps, he realized he had a fuel pressure issue. Took it back to the garage. The team looked at it and decided in order to avoid potential disaster in the race, they needed to swap out those fueling components. So NASCAR allowed them to do that, but he has to start in the back. I talked to Joey before he got in the car, and he said, I made a plan with a couple of guys starting in the back with me. Watch for him to go high and go to the front as quickly as possible. Matt Yoakum?
Jamie, Danny Lawrence is the Xfinity Series director at Richard Childress Racing, but 20 years ago this weekend, he was the engine tuner for Dale Earnhardt, playing an important role in the Big East only 500 win. Earlier today, Nick Harrison, the crew chief on Austin Dillon Chevrolet, was ejected due to deemed a rear suspension violation. So Danny going to the bullpen, calling his own number. He's on the box today, and he will call Austin Dillon's race here today in Daytona.
Adam celebrated his birthday yesterday, Matt, so happy birthday to Danny. Perhaps a belated gift today in the form of a trip to Victory Lane. Now our Powershares QQQ track description.
2.5 miles of pure joy. I love these banks, 31 degrees. 200 miles an hour. This place gives you everything you want as a race car driver.
Very similar to Talladega, but just a little bit narrower, just a little bit smaller, but still very racy, wide open around this racetrack.
Our race analysis, we are once again stage racing in the Xfinity Series.
And Adam, last night in the Truck Series, the stages were 20 laps. I blinked my eyes and they were racing for that green and white checkered. Tonight, just 10 laps more. These stages fly by, and these drivers charge for those stage wins.
And 30-lap stages, which means they can make it without pitting. So you won't see them pit unless they have an incident or an accident of some sort that requires some new tires and fuel.
Weather couldn't be better. 78 degrees, sunshine. The track is going to be hot and slick. 40 Xfinity Series drivers on track and ready to go green. And they are behind the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE, the pace car for today's 300-miler at Daytona.
That baby was made in Kentucky, Adam.
Indeed it was. Georgetown, right?
That's right.
One of the things real quick right before the race starts that I'm noticing that could be a really important factor today, a big wind towards turn 4. That makes these cars really hard to drive. Didn't quite have this wind for the rest of speed weeks when we've seen these cars practicing. That's going to be big for the cars to adjust to.
Can't beat this. The off-season, it's officially over. Couple of Daytona winners in the booth to talk you through the season opening race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Let's put the green flag in the air and make it happen at the world's center of racing.
Daniel Henrik with a good push for the lead from Justin Allgaier. That's what you're going to need, Michael, to run up front and lead these races. You're going to need those pushes at the right time.
And Brad, these cars have different aerodynamic rules this year. This is the first time we've seen it packed this big, Adam. These guys don't really know what to expect. They do know, however, in order to pass, you need a push, and you're going to see a lot of pushing.
Reddick getting aggressive there with his teammate. Reddick in the white number 9 for Junior Motorsports, running for Rookie of the Year. The teammate I referred to, the 5 of Michael Annett. And another car from Junior Motorsports they team with right in front of him on that inside lane, that bright orange, the 7 of Justin Allgaier. Lap 1 to the pole sitter, the 21 of Daniel Henrik. Second-year driver out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. piloting that 21 for Richard Childress.
Check out the 22 of Joey Logano. He doesn't wait around. When they say go, he takes off. And, you know, some of the drivers around him recognize that, Adam, and I saw him flare up and go 3 wide with him, including Jeremy Clements in that 51 car. So that's a great move by Clements. He was able to pass some cars, but Joey's on a mission.
So what Joey's looking to do here is he's trying to charge up a run. And quite simply what that means is he wants to get a little gap, fall in line, use the draft to build up some speed, and then jump out of line and pass as many cars as he can, but he's got to get back in line as quickly as possible because his run will stall back out when he loses the draft. So we call that island hopping as race car drivers. So he's going to try to island hop one position at a time.
This has got to be concerning for the competition. Rear of the field to top 15 in 2 laps. Yeah, unbelievable how fast this race car is.
And the spotters have to be on the radio saying, protect the high side. You got one coming, but he's coming so fast, guys can't get out there in front of him in time.
Joey outside of the 98. That's Eric Almirola. Daniel Suarez in the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. 3 of the drivers pulling double duty on this special weekend here at Daytona. And another of our double dippers, Kyle Larson, 42, won 3 times last year, making the high side work. Outside the pole sitter, Daniel Henrik, who got real close to that double yellow line, almost slipped up there.
That win to turn 4, Michael, it's going to be tough for these guys today, and I think that's part of a factor of what you just saw there.
We got to get on the horn, Brad. We got to tell these drivers to get up in front of Joey. He's already inside.
Top 10, 3 laps.
Amazing.
That's very impressive.
I would have lost the bet on how many positions he could get in the first 10 laps of this race. He's really got a fast race car. On board here with Ryan Truex, driving the 11 for Kaulig Racing in 2018.
And you can hear Ryan lift right there real quick, and he knows that he's got some speed built up. He's going to use that run right here to take pass on Spencer Gallagher on the top and try to bring in Joey Logano from the 3rd lane, just like you were talking about, Michael.
Oh, Joey gets him a little bit loose off of 4 there. You could see Ryan wiggle.
Staying ahead, light up, still looking ahead, light up. Okay, he pushed you out in front of him by 1. He's going to get a push from the 18 back to you. 1 back, half back, getting a push back to you.
You wouldn't believe how fast Joey's car makes those other guys' cars feel. He really pushes them ahead. And watch when he gets into the back of Ryan Truex coming off turn 4. Truex nearly loses his car.
Help here. 23 has no help in the middle.
Whoa.
That was just a very light push.
Keep helping here.
Did he for sure touch him there, Brad?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But with the wind being right there in the track and the corner, the way it is right there, that is going to be the danger spot today.
You can lose control of your car off that corner without a push. It's just
absolutely.
It flattens out quickly and it gets loose there.
And another thing we're noticing, as these guys are all 3 wide, they have slowed down the high lane. Tyler Reddick falling back. He was leading just a few laps ago, but without that help behind him, he's fallen back.
Great job by Spencer Gallagher early in this race, maintaining a top 10 running position. He's in 7th right now. Looking ahead at Joey Logano, hopefully learning from Joey Logano. Experience is a real factor here at Daytona, and Spencer doesn't have a lot of it.
3 wide, and at the bottom, that's the one of Elliott Sadler, won both Stage 1 and Stage 2 a year ago. And we've been celebrating Joey Logano's progress. How about the 3 of Austin Dillon? He too started at the back, driving his way inside the top 15. Scored 11th right now.
Brad, you know this, with 3 wide and the way these cars are pushing all over each other, these tires are starting to get some heat in them. They'll really start to slip and slide.
Absolutely.
Look at that 23.
And the 23. Oh, and the 60, Austin Syndrich. He's in the middle. He's got the least amount of error on the car possible, and that's the slick spot on the racetrack off of turn 4. That's a tough spot to be in.
And Adam, what happens there when you get in that position and you get loose, you learn from it. If you spin out and crash, then your day's over. But when you get loose, you learn, and you make sure you don't put yourself in that position again.
I don't know what the plan was, Jamie, but from the rear of the field to 5th and 6 laps, I'd say so far so good for Joey Logano.
I think that was exactly his plan. He wanted to go up top, get a couple drivers to go with him. And you know, Adam, standing backstage pre-race with Joey, watching driver after driver come up and talk to Joey about racing here and about his plan, he said, man, I feel like Dale Earnhardt Jr. here. It's pretty cool. And now you see why.
Well, one of the things Joey's got working for him is there's been a rule change to these cars this year. A small alteration on the front fascia of the cars. And what that's done is essentially made these cars drive more similar to what the Cup cars have drove like for the last 2 or 3 seasons. And Joey has a tremendous amount of experience in how those cars drive, and the rest of the field is catching up and trying to learn it in real time at 200 miles an hour.
What are your impressions of Daniel Henrik? Started on the pole, has led every lap, seems to be really managing the field. Actually, Larson edged him on one of those circuits, but he has really balanced the rear view mirror and the windshield pretty good in the early going.
He has. He's done a great job, but now Joey Logano has given Kyle Larson the push that he needs to take him to the front.
I jinxed him. There's Larson in the lead.
And the outside lane's coming with Joey Logano, and this is where we're really going to see that Cup experience pay off.
And there you see the Cup experience of Logano in the green car, but right behind them, a couple of Xfinity new guys, and they're just trying to absorb all they can off of what Joey Logano does, where he puts his car, how he makes those moves. Oh, and
wow,
you see again,
big wiggle.
That's Syndrich again in the 60. That's twice. You don't get 3 times a lot of times.
He's going to be in trouble coming off this corner, right in the middle. Ooh, and everybody in front behind him saw that, right, Michael? So now everybody is just going to leave him hanging. They don't want to be around a guy who's loose, and so they're going to hang him out to dry and drop him back if they can.
Couple of rookies side by side. On the bottom, the 9 of Tyler Reddick. In the middle, we mentioned Austin Syndrich in the 60. Outside, 18, Daniel Suarez.
Oh.
And coming up the middle, how about the 90 of Josh Williams? He, too, had to start in the back, working his way toward the front of this field. What's the story with Austin Syndrich, now 7th, Jamie?
Well, it's interesting to watch him. You know, he's only been in the Xfinity Series 1 time before, and that was a road course. This is his first oval race, and a guy who knows all about him is Brad Keselowski. And Brad, what is it like for him to be dealing with this kind of track at these speeds as he's the meat and the sandwich getting bobbed around here and he crashes?
Oh, no.
Big trouble.
Yeah, we talked about a couple of slides, or maybe 3. It's going to eventually go wrong, and it finally did.
He was very loose. Very loose. Well, this is definitely not the day he was looking for, but and sometimes this is how you learn.
Yeah, I'm fine. While we're doing that, lap 10. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure what I can do there.
He's going to share that 60 car in 2018 with Ty Majeski and Chase Briscoe. But he'll run full-time for Rookie of the Year because he'll go over to Team Penske, run the 12 and 22. Unfortunately, an early end of the day here for Austin Syndrich, and heavy damage as well for Brandon Jones. And another rookie, Christopher Bell, got a piece of that. Here's a look back.
So you can see this coming, Michael, that he's already loose, and if you get somebody on your right side, especially off of turn 4 with that wind blowing, you're in trouble. And he got one bobble, saved it, another bobble, and the car's just really light for him right now, and he just lost it.
You got to tip your cap to Suarez. He saw the issues that Syndrich was having. He flared up, gave him plenty of room, but Austin just couldn't keep his car going straight. And Brad, he said on the radio, I don't really know what I could have done there. What advice would you give your quasi-teammate about what he could have done differently?
Well, at this point, you know you're struggling. There's not a lot you're going to do other than just lift and give up spots and try to get it into the pit road and survive another lap. And hopefully catch a break to work on your car.
You know, a lot of times, Adam, when you're loose like that, you get tense and you start over-driving the car because you're so anticipating it's going to spin out on you, and that adds to your problems.
I've often said you got to be strong mentally to be successful at this style of racing. I go back to last year when he was competing for you, involved in an early crash in the truck race. His only experience here, does that weigh on his mind at all?
Oh, that's definitely weighs on your mind. And this type of racing, look, it's tough. It's really tough. You know, you want to trim your car out to be as fast as it can be. And sometimes when you do that, they make them hard to drive. He had a great qualifying effort, you know, up in the top 12. So that team obviously had that car trimmed out. And then as a rookie, that's knowing what positions you can be in and what positions you can't be in is critical. And he didn't necessarily pick that position. You know, Daniel took him to the outside, but he was in trouble, and we could see it coming. Everyone could see blood in the water, so to speak, Michael.
And we saw it from lap 3 or 4 when he started wiggling around. But this guy...
Now, if you go back, Tyler Reddick was right inside of Austin Syndrich. He got a little bit of damage in this thing.
Ready, guys. We may have some sort of ignition problem. I'm going to keep an eye on it, or something electrical.
Well, they got something beyond possible crash damage.
His damage doesn't look that bad. He's got a little wheel donut on the right side, but I think he'll be okay with that, Michael.
You always think about the impact of series regulars, guys that want to run down a championship. We know Austin Syndrich done for the day. We saw Christopher Bell get torn up pretty good. We'll see if he can continue. We just mentioned Tyler Reddick. Ryan Reed, who's won this February race 2 of the last 3 years, got a little bit of damage. So did the 19 of Brandon Jones. Brandon last year on the pole driving for Richard Childress Racing, the 3rd-year driver out of Atlanta, Georgia. This year piloting the 19 for Joe Gibbs.
I want to tell you, though, Ryan Reed did an amazing job of not piling into that crash. Just steady and calm and guided his way through. That's probably why he's won here a couple of times. Jamie, what's happening?
And Daniel Suarez in the pit box right now. All the Gibbs guys pitting, checking the car. They're giving a thumbs up. Very slow there, Matt.
And a great run by Austin Dillon from the back to the front. Chassis adjustment, big swing across the back. You can see the tire changer making that adjustment. Remember, now the carrier makes the swing with the wedge wrench. The gas man can only fuel the car or kick the tire, unlike years past.
Yeah, Matt, we've gone from 6 to 5 guys going over the wall to service these vehicles in 2018. Almost halfway through the opening stage at Daytona, and under caution for the first time, a crash involving Austin Syndrich.
You just try and keep racing the way you know how, and you just try and get yourself better and better, and you know what you have to work on, you know your strengths and your weaknesses.
I think we're going to have to use a different technique this year than what we had last year because of the new rules.
Learning these Xfinity cars at Daytona, making the most of it. Didn't take long to have some damaged race cars here at Daytona. Welcome back to our live coverage, season opening race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's our Powershares QQQ 300. 13 laps into this thing, 7 led by pole sitter Daniel Henrik. The other 6 going to Kyle Larson. Larson leads here. They're on the front row. We'll get the restart as we complete lap 14. 30 laps make up our opening stage.
couple of nice early runs by Josh Williams. You talked about him, Adam, in the 90 car up in the top 10. And Joe Nemechek, third place finish last night in the truck. The old man still got it.
Trying to go back-to-back. One of 4 entries for Johnny Davis and JD Motorsports.
Love seeing those JD Motorsports cars running competitively and up front. Thinking about Johnny today.
Yeah, lost his dad Harold yesterday. Our thoughts and prayers to Johnny, his friends and family on a tough loss, no doubt. Love to see him do good things here today.
What do you think Daniel Suarez learned from Joey Logano, Brad? Look where he's gone, straight to that third lane up there. We haven't seen that work all week.
Well, it's working now with the bigger pack size. These guys, of course, are learning the cars a little bit better, too, at the same time. And I suspect you're going to see the Cup drivers really drive to the front and get there and stay there for a long time, because what we're seeing right now in the cars is that they drive so similar that experience is very valuable for them.
Are you surprised at all that Chase Elliott sits back in the 20th position, hadn't really made a move?
Yeah, I am surprised by that. Right now, at this point in the race, though, you just need to survive. You know, you look at some of the cars that are out of the race right now. We've already got a handful out, or another cars that are even tore up and basically out of the race. So you got to get through these stages to have a shot at winning, and so there's something to be said for that as well with Chase.
Chase Elliott, Ryan Truex. You saw the one there of Elliott Sadler. They're all outside the top 15. And before the break, Matt talked about the changes on how we execute pit stops. I think they had some issues when they came down for the 88.
It looks like they thought it was a 2-tire stop and then changed it to a 4.
He still hasn't got a left front tire, and I think that's one of the, that looked like it came from the right side, didn't it?
Yeah, this is very confusing.
There's Joe Nemechek we talked about.
Don't look now, but who's on his outside? Daniel Suarez, and then the 86 of Brandon Brown. Great to see him doing positive things. You mentioned Josh Williams in the 90, couple of ARCA wins for the kid out of Port Charlotte, Florida. Really good stories inside the top 10. And we remind you, if you're just joining us, that 22 car piloted by Joey Logano, won here in 2011, started the back, inside the top 5 in 3 or 4 laps, and he rides third right now, maybe second that last time around.
And Joe Nemechek, I want to go back to him. Don't forget, Joe Nemechek's a 2-time winner here. He can get it done, too.
And he got it done last night. I texted him before the truck race. I said, are you going to go for it, old man? He said, oh, yeah. And he went for it. Drove up to a third-place finish, and now right up in the lead pack today as well.
You can't put a price tag on experience, right?
Good Spencer Gallagher making a move to the bottom lane.
Yeah, he's done a nice job as well. And there's Josh Williams at 90.
Michael Annette finding some aggression in that high lane.
You know, Adam, you talked about Brandon Brown. I became a huge fan of his. Brad, oh, look at Joey just working that car.
Big block, big moves and big blocks early in this race. We're only 18 laps in. We've already had a major wreck, and we're seeing big blocks.
So intense. Even though they know the possible dangers of making those blocks, they still are willing to do it.
Hey, just behind these guys, Matt Tifft in the top 10. Second-year driver, making the move to Richard Childress Racing in the offseason, driving that 2 car. He's another one that had to come from the back, but now in the 7th spot. Just over 10 laps remaining, stage 1 at Daytona. It was Daniel Henrik early. Kyle Larson has taken over. Logano is there. Haven't said a lot about Justin Allgaier coming off his career best finish, driving the 7. He looks strong today.
You know, I got to say, I'm a fan of this package for the Xfinity cars. They look a little stabler than the Cup cars, but yet they can move around, make passes. All 3 grooves are available to these guys. Great job by Wayne Auten and this staff in NASCAR for the Xfinity Series with these rules. I like it.
I do too.
Elliott Sadler flashing through the middle into 1. Right now, 9th, Matt.
Pitted twice under that last caution. He said the car handles pretty well, but he had some slight damage on the right front corner of the race car, so they fixed that, took their time and fixed it. But you can tell, not only is he having a great run, he's having a lot of fun.
I mean, y'all ain't say nothing but that save I had. I mean, I straightened that thing right on up. You did good. I felt like Evel Knievel there for a minute.
Is it me, or is that him patting himself on the back there?
A little bit, but I'll tell you what, I'm nervous for him right now. He's in the top 3 wide, and they were very, very close together. Spencer Gallagher's car, turn 4, we already know is the treacherous side, and he's already a little loose. So I was nervous for him right here.
Austin Syndrich out of the care center. He's with Regan Smith.
Tough start to the 2018 season for Austin Syndrich. Austin, we saw you in some predicaments early on there. How loose was your race car?
It wasn't too bad, but when you get in 3 wide situations with everyone, I'd have to see how close 18 was to my door. But probably racing a little too aggressive there to start the race. I just wanted to get to the third stage, to be honest, but it's unfortunate. The guys on the 60 car worked really hard over the offseason. I think Chase will be in the car next week in Atlanta, so hopefully they can rebound and have a solid weekend with no drama, but I'm excited to try and kick the season off strong. I mean, speedway racing, I'm sure there'll be more turn-up cars this race. It's just how it is, but I'm excited to see how Ryan does. Hopefully he can have the three-peat and move on to Atlanta.
It will be Chase Briscoe driving the 60 next week for the Roush Fenway organization. He mentioned Ryan. That would be Ryan Reed, who won this race 1 year ago. Top 5 at Daytona: Larson, Logano, Allgaier, Suarez, and Daniel Henrik. Stay with us on FS1.
I'm looking at Suarez.
You just try and keep racing the way you know how, and you just try and get yourself better and better, and you know what you have to work on, you know your strengths and your weaknesses.
I think we're going to have to use a different technique this year than what we had last year because of the new rules.
Learning these Xfinity cars at Daytona, making the most of it.
Just heard from Christopher Bell, the rookie out of Norman, Oklahoma. Already won in this series last fall at Kansas. One of the drivers knocked out of the race in that early crash. Time now for our Ford Performance Track Facts. Ryan Reed, the headliner, winning 2 of the last 3 February races at Daytona. And would you believe, with all the drivers, the Hall of Famers that have driven in the Xfinity Series, for Jack Roush, Reed the only one that can get one of his Xfinity cars to victory lane.
That does seem hard to believe, doesn't it?
Here we are, Larry. 5 to go. Stage 1, your thought process on the pit box.
Well, the car I'm looking at right now is Elliott Sadler in that one car sitting there in the 3rd position. Remember, he's one of the cars that pitted twice back on that last caution. If he can get up there and contend for these stage points, which he's pretty good right now, because of when he pitted, he can stay out and he can go to the end of stage 2 at lap 60. So he could really cash in as he moves by Joey Logano for 2nd.
And we know tires, not a big part of the equation here, fellas.
And that was impressive. He did to Joey what Joey had done to the field, was able to swing to the high side of the 22 car and grab that spot away. He's going for this stage victory.
Elliott's a great restrictor plate racer, and he's starting to figure out how these cars are driving and what it's going to take, and he's making the right moves.
Mentioned Christopher Bell done for the day. Regan, what's his situation?
Christopher Bell, not the start to the season that you wanted to have. First off, glad that you're okay. Do you put this day behind you and think about Atlanta already?
Yeah, going into the beginning parts of the season, we know that Daytona is kind of a, this can happen. So we tested at Atlanta. It's one of my favorite racetracks. I'm excited to get there. We're going to have a really, really fast-running Camry.
One of our championship favorites, guys. He's going to have to wait till Atlanta to get his second career win.
Tough break for Christopher Bell. And you look at the track, Larry mentioned it. Elliott Sadler has worked his way to second, won both stages, 1 and 2 in this race a year ago, won a stage here last summer as well. His teammate, the rookie, it's not William Byron, it's Tyler Reddick piloting that machine in 2018.
About 8,000 RPM, just a popping in the exhaust. I don't know, I'm feeling it power-wise just a little bit. Header or something, a hole in the header.
That's what it sounds like to me, Michael. You know, a lot of times you'll have cars that backfire and make sounds like that. It'll be some kind of exhaust system failure, which isn't fatal for your day, but it sure is annoying, and it doesn't quite run as crisp as it did before.
Look at Joey. Puts the move back on Elliott Sadler. He gets to the outside of the 1 car and takes that second spot away.
Here's the balance with a lap and a half to go in stage 1. These stage points really don't mean anything to the 42 of Kyle Larson, 22 of Joey Logano, the 18 of Daniel Suarez, because they're not running for the championship. But there's a playoff point on the line at all these stage points for guys like Elliott Sadler, Justin Allgaier, Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer. That's why they are so aggressive with 1 lap to go.
And Elliott Sadler says, well, Adam, will you tell Larson and Logano that?
Get out of the way?
It means a lot to me.
But they're still race car drivers. They ain't getting out of the way.
That's exactly right.
Especially with 1 lap left in the stage. I like what Larry said, though. Elliott Sadler, he wants those points, but he's in a good spot either way here because he can stay out for the next stage. Presumably they will.
I just love the way he's driving this race car. So aggressive, a lot of speed. Down there on the bottom by himself, yet he's able to hang tight.
He's in the mix, so is his teammate, Justin Allgaier.
Joey's
that's him in that bright orange 7.
Let's see if it's almost there. He needs to break the plane on Kyle Larson's bumper. Just can't quite do it.
Larson has led 22 of the first 29 laps in this opening stage, and it looks like he's going to win it. Back through the tri-oval. Stage 1 is complete. It's Kyle Larson who wins the first 30-lap stint. Logano was second. Allgaier, Reddick, and Sadler the top 5. The pole sitter Henrik was 6th. Annette, Suarez, Gallagher, and Custer all scoring points at Daytona.
Good start for Annette.
We got someone on line 1, the hotline. Let's go to the hotline. Stage 1 complete for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Daytona. It is the Powershares QQQ 300. Opening stage goes to Kyle Larson. He and others coming down pit road. Regan?
Yeah, Justin Allgaier coming to his pit box. He's been happy with his race car so far. He's going to hit his marks. The guys are going to do 2 tires and fuel. Matt?
Looking for right side tires on the 42 of Kyle Larson. His car extremely free in traffic out front. It was much better. Meanwhile, the one of Elliott Sadler said, whatever adjustment you guys made, it certainly freed it up, but maybe it ticked too much. Fuel there on the one. Jamie?
Joey Logano's a little tight corner exit. They were going to take 2 tires, but actually they changed their mind and said, let's do 4 to give you an idea, Joey, of what this pit stop will feel like being longer for tomorrow, and also to see what the tires do over the course of a run.
Thank you, Jamie. Elliott Sadler has made his 2nd pit stop of the day. Got his tires under the first caution. No tires here, gains track position, and he wins the battle off pit road.
Let's see what he thinks about all that. Elliott Sadler, it's Michael Waltrip and Brad. Adam, up in the FS1 booth, do you copy?
Yes, sir. I got you, Michael.
Well, your reward for being so fast and driving to the front was your crew chief, Kevin Mendering, said, you don't get any tires, buddy. How do you feel about being out front on old tires?
Well, you know, we only had a few sets of lanes, Michael, and when we spun down the front stretch, we flat spotted our first set. So we had to put our second set on a little bit too early. But it's all about battling back through adversity. We felt like we did that in the first segment. We're starting to tail the end of the longest line and making it all the way back to the top 5. So great job by my guys. Our 1 Main Financial Chevrolet is fast. I just got to manage it here the next 30 laps till I can put some more tires on it.
How about a Daytona spin and win? Have fun, my buddy.
I hope y'all got that on TV.
He said the key word. My car is fast. If you have a fast race car, it trumps everything at Daytona. We'll see if Sadler can finish the deal today.
15 seconds in here to a blip pop. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 to you, Shannon. 2.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Those who live up to their names make one for themselves. Goodyear, more driven. Stage 1 is complete here at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. Kyle Larson took the green and white checkered flag, but series regulars Justin Allgaier, Tyler Reddick, and Elliott Sadler rounded out the top 5. Those guys already looking for stage points, Larry, and you said that that was going to be something that we could watch for in this race.
Well, I think it's because we now have a template to look at what went on last year. You think about Elliott Sadler. He did not win a race, but he won the regular season points, and a lot had to do with stacking those stage points throughout the regular season.
Stacking stage points beginning on race number 1. Adam, back to you guys.
Stage 1 is complete. Now you kind of, as a driver, know what you have. Does it change how aggressive you are in stage 2? We're about to go green.
I think absolutely. You've got a feel for the car. Adam, you got to feel for how the race is laying out. You know, got one early wreck. You've kind of figured out what drivers know what's going on, what drivers are maybe still trying to figure it out for yourself. And I think now's the time where you really get in a rhythm. And if you've got the speed like Elliott Sadler says he does, you try to get to the front and run away.
Just call me a stage fan. This stage racing is awesome. Seeing these crew chiefs use strategy, the drivers fight for every position coming to lap 30, lap 60. This is good stuff today.
Few drivers lost a ton of track position on that exchange of pit stops. One of them, Joey Logano, from the top 5 to 16th on the restart. Let's listen to the spotters as we go green in stage 2.
Bottom lane. 2 cars can try to make it 3-way. Still locked up. 5 staying with you. 21 and 3 line up bottom lane. Tight in front with 1. The 18's got room in front of him. The second car in front of you.
Within a half car length of him. Got a half car length behind you.
He's got help out back. That's your quarter. That's your bumper. Clear bottom. Clear bottom. Bumper, outside bumper. Help will come back to you right here. The guy on your outside doesn't have a pusher yet. Your pusher's closer than his. 98 is not clear. 2 by 2. You're 1 back. Bottom lane closest now. Still bumper. Still bumper. 22 closing on you now. 1 inside. Middle to 3. 88's following you on the high side. There you go. 88.5 lined up with you. 1 back. Helps on the bottom. 1 back. 3 right middle. Looking for 2. Only 1.
That's all you need. Just run out just like we did about 24 more times.
Been a lot of 3 wide. Nobody's got a pusher in your beer, man. No big runs either side. 3 wide middle. 3 wide middle. 21 and 3 on the inside lane. 5 and 23 on the top lane. No help right now. 23. All the help with you though. 00 middle by himself. 2 inside. A lot of good help with you. You are clear. Middle. Outside. Outside lane now. 3 wide middle. Good work, bud. 3 wide behind you. 4 car lengths back. You're still bottom 2. Checking up in front a little bit. All right. Outside. Still got your teammates pushing you.
Brad, I love hearing the personalities of the spotter. You can just tell how calm and collected they are. But if I'm you, the driver out there in your number 2 Ford, you ever feel like just saying, could you just be quiet for a minute? I need to think about this. Could you just be quiet for a minute?
You want to, but the spotters are so key to giving you the situational awareness in this pack that you need, because 1 inch can be the difference between wrecking, passing, and winning. And so that's why it's so critical to have these spotters. I mean, these moves are happening so fast. You just saw Kyle Larson change lanes, and his car's a little bit sideways. That's at 200 miles an hour. That's really impressive.
I just want to remind you tomorrow when you're racing, your spotter's about a half a mile away from you when you go into turn 3. So it's really difficult for these guys.
I didn't want to hear that, Michael.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to believe he's right there and he can see everything perfectly.
Kyle Larson's led 28 laps today. He won stage 1. The only other driver to lead in that first stint, our pole sitter, the 21 of Daniel Henrik, but he's a little deeper in the field now, Matt.
talking a lot about youth in this field, but also on the spotter stand. Daniel Henrik's spotter, Brandon Lyons, has never spotted at a super speedway before until today, but he will be with Daniel all season. So he's working out the kinks, just learning the ropes high atop the spotter stand in this type of racing, which is so quick. He has to be so concise with the terminology and how he breaks down how the cars are making runs at that 21, Jamie.
And you're riding on board with the 11 of Ryan Truex, a new face and a new place that you'll see full-time this season. Of course, he's the younger brother of our Cup Series champion, Martin Truex Jr. Ryan told me that he's had so many opportunities in his career, so many fell through. He did not truly believe that this was going to be his team and his car until he got to the garage on Friday and saw his name on the car. Doing a nice job here. Car has been good. Took fuel only on the last stop, Adam.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of another late bloomer, his older brother, Martin Truex Jr., who is the defending champ in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
Adam, Brad's about to have a fit up here. When Joey made that run and Kyle Larson blocked him, I didn't know if they were going to make that corner or not.
I didn't think they were going to make it. Wow, we're seeing some great racing, intense up front. Chase Elliott and Joe Logano have gotten together, and they are pushing up to the front. I was surprised, Adam and Michael, how Chase was kind of riding around 10th or 12th. End of the first stage, he turned the wick up.
Hey, look at the guys in the top 5. People that we would expect to be here. Larson leading. Logano there in second, side by side for third. Eric Almirola, Chase Elliott, they have both won here. And behind him, Elliott Sadler, great plate racer, and Ryan Reed, who's won here 2 of the last 3. And he had a bit of a moment. Suarez giving him a bump there in the corner.
If you just look right now at our top 6 drivers, all of them have won here. All of them are just great experienced drivers at the Cup level.
You know, it's funny.
A lot of help on the high side. It's going to be the ticket off the corner here. Nope, 98's trying to get up in front of him.
Nope. Not today.
See there, the drivers doing double duty. They're all having great success today. A third of the way through stage 2 at Daytona, and Larson out front.
Ryan Reed, he just has a knack for this, this track.
He really does. And he's got some damage from that. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Daytona Beach, Florida. Good to have you with us live on FS1. It's the season opening race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the Powershares QQQ 300. Kyle Larson won stage one. He is the race leader. Halfway through our second stage, Chase Elliott has made his way to the front in that 88 car. Logano is there, Ryan Reed, and Spencer Gallagher also in the mix.
That was just a good prediction there by Chase Elliott. He didn't really block Joey Logano. He just said, I think Joey's going high, moved up, and his run was cut off. But wow, Brad, these guys are so aggressive.
The bottom's tight.
Very aggressive. You see a lot of lane changing. And what they're trying to do there, they're trying to break the plane of the front bumpers to get an extra push of air to speed their car up and slow the car behind them down.
We did have an early crash, lap 13, took out two of our championship contenders, Austin Syndrich and Christopher Bell, and since then, the two of Matt Tifft has also had an issue, Regan.
Yeah, Matt Tifft hit pit road for 4 tires. He thought he had a right front tire going down. The crew is trying to diagnose that right now.
He did so under green, so he's 1 lap down. If he could somehow stay in that position, he might get the free pass at the end of this second stage, get back on the lead lap. New leader at Daytona, Chase Elliott to the front, able to get around the 42 of Kyle Larson, and look who's behind him. Outstanding day for the 23 of Spencer Gallagher.
This is Spencer's Xfinity race of his career. His best finish is 8th here at Daytona back in 16, but this is as strong as I've ever seen him. That GMS team, oh, God, that's close side drafting. That GMS team that Spencer drives for, Adam, they're really building some nice race vehicles. Won the truck race 1-2 last night, and now running right up front in the Xfinity Series. Maury Gallagher, Mike Beam, that whole organization is really doing a nice job.
As a driver, seeing what you're seeing here, Brad, you getting more or less comfortable?
Less, yes, absolutely. I get less comfortable when I see a lot of lane changing because it's very hard to predict, and eventually cars get just far enough beside each other where they hook each other and wreck. So lane changing is very, very nerve-wracking for a driver when you get up towards the front.
Eric Almirola made his presence known early in stage 2. 10th right now, Matt, for the guy that won here a couple of years ago.
Now, Adam, Kevin Harvick's Cup pit crew really maximizing every opportunity to shake off the rust and get reps. Pulling triple duty. Last night they pitted a truck utilizing last year's impact gun, but with a new 5-man roster, just trying to work out the kinks on that. Today, they've got the 2018 impact gun, the 5-man roster, and now tighter fender well openings. Just trying to get through this new process, looking ahead to tomorrow's Daytona 500. You know, nothing replaces real live action reps, no matter how much you practice.
Adam, that 2017 gun, it sounds like a Yamaha. Wow, wow, wow.
The one they were using last night.
Yeah, it's really high pitched. The ones they're using now sound like Harleys, just a growling sound.
He's just rolling the inertia from this push, nose out car, but now the bottom's locked up tight. 23 is going to nose out. All right, they're off of him now. Everybody loose behind. Top reforming. 22 and 42 off the corner here.
It's Eddie DeHunt, Chase Elliott's spotter, as he's taking the lead, kind of worked his way up really diligently here. Finally, someone was able to crack Kyle Larson. Let's see how long he can hold on to it here, Michael.
Yeah, and you just heard DeHunt. He's telling Chase Elliott all that, and it's all going on behind him. But Elliott needs to hear all that information so he can anticipate those lane changes.
I thought when Logano came from 16th to the front on a restart stage 2, he was going to be the guy. Finds himself 5th right now. It's Chase Elliott leading the way. 10 laps to go.
Just having fun today and do our thing, try to be there when it counts. Woo, y'all look good. They are tight in front of you.
That 18 kept doing that. I wish we could have been more aggressive on blocking it.
Having fun today and do our thing. Try to be there when it counts. Woo, y'all look good. They are tight in front of you.
That 18 kept doing that. I wish we could have been more aggressive on blocking it.
6 laps to go in stage 2 here at Daytona. Stage 1 went to Kyle Larson. He's led 36 laps today, but 8 laps ago it was the 88 of Chase Elliott who got around him. Here's how he made it happen.
Well, here's what we see, Adam. He's moving up, he's moving down. He's trying to really get a feel for Kyle Larson's awareness of where he's at on the racetrack. And he's also trying to build runs to make the pass. And then finally, it's going to all come together. 1 lap here off of turn 4 where he goes all the way to the top and drops back down to the bottom, gets Kyle Larson a little bit loose, and gets just close enough to break the plane of his rear bumper, grab that side draft, and charge the lead.
Larson might have been taking notes because I think he wanted to return the favor here, Michael.
You know, and Adam, Brad, these guys, you think, why do they care about leading this lap? Why don't they just ride? They've got to learn. They've got to understand how to get back just enough, get the right push to grab the lead. Put that in the brain. Understand how you accomplish that move so you can use it later in the race.
Well, yeah, and of course you want to show everybody else that you're the best too. That's part of being a race car driver. And here Joe Logano's going to make a very similar move. Top of 3 and 4, then drop down to the bottom. Use that banking to ramp up a little extra speed and make the pass to second.
And as soon as he makes that pass, he starts positioning himself for this pass.
Absolutely.
He got right in front of Larson, hoping to get a push. You could see Chase just
going to come at you very hard right here.
Back and forth.
Behind you. Bottom. They're off each other now. On you. Bottom.
This is where it gets really hairy, Michael. All this lane changing. Eventually, somebody changes lanes when someone gets right up to them and they hook. That's when the wrecks happen.
Half lane higher.
Listen to that 88 radio. So much to manage.
Go to the brake at the line. Lawson's holding off 2 lanes. 2 back you, bottom. Mid.
Great information. Little crossover. Logano, low, high, nothing doing. 3 remaining stage 2.
First 3, single file. First 3.
These guys are playing equally as much defense
to get up sharp now.
as they are offense.
Coming to you.
They're also playing with fire. We're very early still in this race. We're not even halfway. This will get you in trouble.
The end of stage 2 will be halfway.
It's no coincidence, Adam, that 4 of the top 5 are Cup racers. 5 of the top 6. These guys know how to play the game.
Now going to come at you off the corner bottom.
3 of those 4 have won here at Daytona.
Big push coming. On you. He's holding off 2 lanes behind him. Amarola on the top. Sadler pushing Amarola hard on the top behind Logano. The top is formed up good. Majority and tight. On you.
Can you imagine Chase Elliott having to digest all that?
1 to go at the line to the brake first.
He's doing a good job at it. He's got a lot of help from a spotter here too, as you can hear.
Are you truly comprehending every word and then managing it, putting it to good use on track?
That's what you have to do. You're not going to win these races without getting it. He's got a good push right here. The spotter's letting him know it's coming. And now he's got to make some tough choices. The run stalled. He did a great job of holding it back.
And Brad is Brad using the brake any to roll off of Chase Elliott to hopefully get a run, or is it all just rolling off the gas?
You know, every driver uses a little different tactics, so it's hard to say exactly what he's doing, but mostly what you're seeing him do is change lanes to, wow, quick lane change there. To charge the cars up. That's why they're changing lanes, is they're trying to charge their runs up.
Look at Suarez. Huge run.
What about Truex in the middle? The 11 having a good finish to stage 2. Final lap in our second stage at Daytona.
Top's going to come back at you, reforming.
Chase Elliott out front.
What happened to Joey? Did he get loose and just fall back?
Well, he was trying to charge his run up by slowing down, and when he did so, everybody just jumped all over him and took advantage of it. Now he's going to punt and try to finish this stage, and Chase Elliott has earned this stage win.
Stage 1, Kyle Larson. Stage 2 belongs to Chase Elliott in the 88, driving for Dale Jr. Second, Eric Almirola. Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, the top 4. Best series regular collecting points. Way to go, Spencer Gallagher. He was 5th. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's have a little fun and play on this day, February 17th, 1818. How about that? The bicycle invented, huh? February 17th, 34, the first driving course offered, right? 1974, Richard Petty wins his first Daytona 500. I mean, his fifth Daytona 500. And Bill, in 85, wins his first Great American Race. How about that?
That's a big day.
All of that on February 17th. And today...
Was Chase even born?
2018. No, he was
born.
not. And in 2018, Stage 2 belongs to the aforementioned Chase Elliott, who's had a good afternoon in the Xfinity Series.
Now, do they ring the siren for a stage?
I don't think so.
No, you got to have
think
the
so.
whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dawsonville, Georgia, the home of the Elliott clan.
Yes.
And the Dawsonville Pool Hall, where every time an Elliott wins a race, and we found out last night, if you're from Dawsonville and win a race, Spencer Davis was competing last night in the Truck Series.
They'd ring it for him, too.
They're going to ring it.
Really? That's great to know.
They rang it 2 years ago because
we love race
Chase
fans.
was able to win.
We love race fans that really care about their hometown guys like Dawsonville, Georgia. Way to go, guys.
Got to celebrate it. So we have seen varying pit strategies so far today. The top 5 at the end of Stage 2. Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, Spencer Gallagher. They are headed your way, Matt.
Chase Elliott's team planning ahead for the final stop in this event. They're going to take 4 sticker tires on this stop so that way they can do some scuffs on that last stop. Meanwhile, the 98 of Eric Almirola, a little free, especially when someone is shoving him from behind. Air pressure change on that car. And the 42 of Larson, he's having to really saw on it a lot. He just doesn't have a whole lot of wheel in it. 4 tires on the 42. Jamie?
Daniel Suarez in the 18 said he gets tighter as he goes. He had to get out of the gas a couple of times. It was a 4-tire stop. He needed help getting into the center and off.
Strategy playing a role there. Top guys off the pit lane, led by Eric Almirola, all taking 2 tires. Kyle Larson, the first off with 4. Behind him, Chase Elliott, who got 4 tires as well. Let's hear from the winner of Stage 2 in that Hellman Chevrolet.
Chase Elliott, this is Brad Keselowski up in FS1 booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, but go ahead.
I got to tell you, man, I drive these cars for a living, and I'm watching these guys in the stands and the people at home, and we're all thinking, oh, my goodness, this is crazy racing. I got to know, what's it like from your seat?
It's been a pretty fun day. These guys are really aggressive, and the majority of the guys that are racing tomorrow are being extra aggressive this afternoon, so I'm having a lot of fun with them. We'll try to stay up front or get back up front and see what the rest of the race has to offer.
Well, congratulations on your Stage 1 win. Do you think you can keep it up there?
Well, we got to get back up there first, so I think if we can get there, I do believe we can, but just a matter of getting there first.
4 tires on that pit stop versus 2 on the last stop. Do you think that's going to help your car drive a little better, or is it driving good as it is?
Yeah, I think 4 is a good call. I think a lot of guys took 4 just then, so trying to open up opportunities for the last one, so we'll see how it plays.
10-4. Well, good luck to you, Chase. You're my pick up here in the booth, so no pressure, man. We're counting on you.
Awfully nice of you, Brad.
Hey, and he said it on the strategy. Taking 4 tires there gives you options for the final pit stop, and everyone going to have to come down pit road one more time. The final stage next at Daytona.
We have reached the final stage, opening race of 2018 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It is the Powershares QQQ 300 Stage 2 winner, Chase Elliott, and that's after Kyle Larson won the opening stage of the day. Joey Logano started at the back. He's been in the mix all afternoon, but a little frustrated there late in Stage 2. What's the story, Jamie?
Well, Adam, remember at the top of the show I talked about Joey having a fuel pressure issue in qualifying. They changed out those fueling components and he had to start in the back of the field. Well, just before the end of that stage, on the backstretch, under green, his motor shut off. You see it right there. What the heck? Motor shut off. It came back on like nothing was wrong. So it's certainly something they're keeping an eye on. It looks like they didn't work out those gremlins quite yet.
Hey, Jamie, I'll bet you $100 he didn't say what the heck. I'm going to bet you $100 on that.
You know, we just have to edit those things.
I know Joey pretty well, and it could have gone either way.
It might have been a heck, right?
It might have been.
Yeah, he's a father now. I don't want to paint him in a bad light. Pacing the field today here at Daytona, the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE. And I will say, the pace car should be good on fuel because he hasn't had a lot of work today. Had the one early issue.
Adam.
And a caution at the end of stage 1.
There's still 55 to go, buddy.
Oh,
that
did I
was
speak
way
too
too
soon?
early, my friend.
Going to be 54 laps remaining. When we go green in the final stage, Aric Almirola, Daniel Henrik out front. Let's crank it up on FS1.
I thought it was really interesting how Aric Almirola picked the top lane on the restart. We haven't seen it for quite some time. Got a great push from Joey Logano, cleared to the lead, but that hung Joey out on the top, and he's fallen back a little bit. Oh, he's going to make a big 3-wide move, and he's just now got to Chase Elliott. Remember, those two drafted to the front in segment 2.
And Larson going to the inside, and that 42 of Aric Almirola put Larson back in the lead. Maybe not for long. Logano drafting help from the 88 of Chase Elliott, making it work on the high side, Michael.
You know, Adam, I thought after stage 2, maybe we'd calm down and get in line and head toward that finish. These blocks are ridiculous. I mean, I just can't believe how much timing at nearly 200 miles an hour these drivers are relying on to make those moves. Brad, you can't just simply listen to your spotter and cut over like that. Yep. That's got to be a seat of the pants feel.
There's a lot of instinct involved in that, Michael, but we're seeing a common theme here. 3 drivers have emerged. Chase Elliott for sure winning stage 2, Kyle Larson winning stage 1, and now Joey Logano in the lead.
A couple of things we got to pay off at the end of stage 2. Free pass went to Matt Tifft, so he's back on the lead lap. He got a lap. Brandon Brown lost one, Regan.
Yeah, Brandon Brown got a penalty for pitting and fueling outside of the box, so not a good situation for him here.
Ryan Truex also speeding on pit road, but he's worked his way back to the top 10 despite the penalty, and the battle for the lead is on again. How great is this? Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Elliott Sadler, all right there for the top spot.
And Chase had Joey right here, but Elliott Sadler went the other way on him and split him, so that hung him out. Now he's going to get split again, 3 wide in the middle.
And look at that red car, the first red car on the high side, Ryan Reed. He was involved in that accident early in the race, and now he's battling inside the top 5. You're talking about somebody that just gets restrictor plate racing and knows how to position himself near the front. That's Reed.
Reminiscent of last year when he went through the grass on the back straightaway, involved in a couple of accidents, somehow found his way to the front, ended up getting his second win here.
I got to tell you, Chase has got to be really frustrated right here because he made the right move and he got hung out to dry. He made a beautiful crossover move off of 4 to take the lead and just hit a wall of air when nobody would help him. And that could be the difference maker. Sometimes you make the right moves, Michael, and you don't get any help and it just doesn't work.
So, Larry, let's go back to Brandon Brown being penalized on that last cycle of pit stops. There he is, left of your screen in the lower box in the 86.
Yeah, you can see right here, he slides across the front line, the green line right there, and they start the pit work. That is considered pitting out of the box. And I think the other thing that happened right there, you saw the fuel man had the can engaged. You can perform no work whatsoever on that race car, not even fueling the car when it's outside the box. That's the reason he was penalized 1 lap.
He's 37th, 1 lap down as Brandon Brown.
And this is a new rule for this year. Now, if some of you may remember, last year we saw it in the playoffs with Jimmy Johnson where they put a lug nut on 1 stop or 1 box ahead. There was a lot of questions about that. This year, that's been cleaned up. Now you can do absolutely no work outside of your box. So the fueler was allowed to have the can engaged as the car was leaving before. No more. So this is all part of the new rules, and the Hawkeye system creates a really fair and objective way for NASCAR to police that.
And that's just a communication issue. The crew chief has to be on the ball on that one. When that car slides through, he has to call off the work. The team can't get near that car, get the car pushed back. That penalty doesn't happen.
Hey, if you went in the garage yesterday, every team would say the man to beat in this race, Joey Logano. Had the problems, unapproved adjustment, started this race in the rear. Drove up to second, lost all those positions on pit road at the end of stage 1. He was 16th. Drove to the front again. This is the first time he has led today. 5 circuits out front, the double deuce looking strong with 47 to go.
Adam, Brad and I keep hitting each other saying, there's no way these blocks are going to keep working. There's no way they can keep doing this. It's just too close.
We've been wrong so far.
We have been. But look at my buddy Clint Boyer. He says via Twitter, these blocks are ridiculous and won't last. I think I might side with Boyer on this one.
I'm with you. I'm with you, but give him credit. It's worked so far, but we still have a long ways to go. 47 laps to go in a 120-lap race.
But Joey's been so good.
Whoa, look at that one. Oh, my goodness.
Inside, you got help coming though. Good help with you. Make him help you. Good help with you.
Hold on, I got to catch my breath, Michael.
There you go. He's going to have to go back to block the bottom here. No help in your mirror. Get the air. Get away from here. 18 is right on his bumper. The blue car in your mirror is your help. Blue car, the 1 coming to you. That's your help.
Wow, that made my heart race just like it did you. And Clint was nearly right. That almost didn't
The 42 was dead sideways through the tribal here that last lap, trying to take the lead. That was an amazing save he made.
Chase up the middle.
After all that, Larson back in the lead. Well, maybe not. Here comes Logano. That blue car behind him, the one of Elliott Sadler. He's been one of the best series regulars here today.
Look at Elliott.
And he's going to take the top spot.
In the middle. You're clear high.
Logano said, okay, I'll go with you. That worked out, huh?
That was beautiful.
See, this is the thing about side drafting, Michael, is when the cars get really tight to each other that they have to do to side draft. Those lanes behind you are coming with the run, and if you leave a hole, they're going to take it.
I think this might be as much about just showing the other guy you got better skills than he does than it is about positioning yourself to win this race this afternoon. I mean, these guys are going at it.
Yeah, well, everybody here is trying to prove that they're the alpha dog, right? Don't mess with me. I get to the lead. Don't even try to make a move on me because I'm going to come back at you.
Yeah, and I don't want to second guess anything we're seeing here because it's highly entertaining, but isn't it a little bit early to be behaving like this? I mean, we're well over 40 laps to go in this thing.
Well, don't keep running like this till somebody wrecks. And then everybody will kind of calm down a little bit, and then we'll get to those last few laps, and we'll crank it back up.
It's just highly entertaining. This is as good of racing, I think, Adam, that we've ever seen in the Xfinity Series here at Daytona. And certainly with the struggles we saw in the Cup races leading up to the 500, with the cars being really loose and guys slipping and sliding. The trucks last night, crashes. These guys are just, we said it before the race, the cars are handling better, so they're going to do crazier stuff.
I think it also speaks to the talent of the race car drivers. Michael, in this race last year, 10 cautions. We had 20 DNFs, 2 red flags, 3 cautions today with 44 to go, and 2 of those coming at the end of stage 1 and stage 2.
And Adam, let me remind you this. This is the youngest starting field
ever
in the history of the Xfinity Series at Daytona. You talked about the level of talent. What about the youth as well? These kids get it in a hurry.
Only 2 cars being scored out of this race. Came in a lap 13 accident. Rookies Austin Syndrich and Christopher Bell. Outside of that, this has been a clean afternoon despite some dicey movement on track. Logano is in the lead. When he comes by the start-finish line this time, it'll be his 9th lap out front.
That sounds kind of hard to believe, isn't it? With all the highlights he's been today.
He's passed more cars than anybody, I promise you that.
Chase Elliott with a nice 3-wide move.
Closing on 40 laps to go for the Xfinity Series at Daytona. And to say it's been entertaining would be a major understatement. So fun to watch.
Who's he? Greg Galding.
4th caution of the day here at Daytona for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 54 of Greg Galding. Smoke out the back end, likely an engine issue for him, so he will go to the garage. NASCAR taking every precaution to avoid incident, so they put the yellow in the air. 2 of our 4 yellow flags today coming at stage end, and the only crash coming early on in today's race. 38 laps to go. Logano, Sadler, Elliott, Allgaier, Kyle Larson, the top 5. Brad, it's always great to have you in the booth with us, and when you're here, we love to talk about
your foundation, which has done so many good things.
Well, thank you very much. Checker Flag Foundation is a 501c3 foundation. I started in 2010, and that's a fancy way of saying that it's government and IRS approved, but that helps and supports our nation's heroes. You know, people have gone out to the battlefield or who have served our country domestically or even abroad and didn't come back the same way that they went out, and we want to help them, and I'm committed to doing that. And through my Checker Flag Foundation, we have a number of ways that we support our veterans and nation's heroes, and we appreciate the support of the community and race fans out there. So we've got a number of initiatives to do that. In fact, if you go to our website right now, you can find a few fundraisers we're doing with t-shirts and different things to try to raise money to help those people out, along with the donations that my wife and I, Paige, make as well. So appreciate everyone's support, and thank you for highlighting us today.
And I just wanted to say thank you for all you do, especially when you fly the American flag after a victory. I'm so thankful for people like you, all you do for our military, and keep up the good work, buddy.
Well, thank you very much. You know, we couldn't be here today without them, and this is a beautiful day in Daytona, and we're seeing some of the best racing in the world, and it's thanks to guys and men and women like that make it possible.
Caution out for the 4th time. 37 laps to go when they pit. What are we going to see here, Larry?
Yeah, we've run 15 laps. This will get us to the end. I think everybody will be on pit road. I know the call I would make with only 15 laps on my tires: fuel only. Get him out there quickly.
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer call here, but you never know what we're going to see.
And go back to the drivers that got 4 the last time around. We'll see how the strategy plays out. They're there, Regan.
Yeah, Justin Allgaier heads for his pit box. He aims, gets himself in. Fuel only for Justin Allgaier and a small chassis adjustment. Matt?
Scott Rado feels like they don't have a better set of tires for Chase Elliott, so fuel only. Told him make sure you don't slide. Elliott Sadler, the car pretty neutral. No real changes there, Jamie.
Joey Logano really tight still, wants to free up on entry. That was a fuel-only stop, and guys, he's using both onboard batteries now, and the motor seems fine.
Top 3 off the pit lane, all getting no tires. A number of others behind them coming off with no tires, fuel only as well. The restart when we come back.
Wow.
Last Sunday, Brad won the Clash here at Daytona. Tomorrow, he'll look to sweep the Sunday races at the World Center of Racing, trying to claim the 60th Daytona 500. Coverage begins on Fox at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Larry Mack's countdown officially over. 1 day to go.
I've already got goosebumps, Adam. I'm ready.
I was going to ask you if you're giddy.
I am. We have one of the fastest cars, probably the fastest car I've ever had for Speed Weeks. And I am so pumped for our Discount Tire Ford.
Awesome. I hope the racing tomorrow is as good as it's been today. And you say there is a reason why this competition has been so tight, right?
Yes, I want to take a second. We have Gray Galding's car here, who unfortunately just had some engine trouble. But I want to point something out to you, to our race fans. We're seeing some incredible racing today. And here is my opinion of why we're seeing the racing so competitive today without the accidents. It's these front fender flares. Different for 2018 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. NASCAR, Wayne Auden and his entire team that works through the aerodynamics of these cars developed these two pieces. You'll see them on the left and the right front of each one of the cars. They're little flares right above these decals and that run all the way out to the fender wells. And what those do, quite simply, is they move the air a little bit differently across the car. They give the car a little bit of stability, but they also make it to where the cars don't engage the bumpers and do tandem drafting like we've seen in years past. But also they keep the cars to where they side draft. That's why we're seeing these big side draft moves, similar to what we've normally seen with the Cup cars over the last few years. So this is a big change for the series. It's changed the way the cars are driven, and I think it's a big reason why we're seeing such a high quality level of racing today.
And I talked to Elliott Sadler about just what you were talking, Brad, and he said it also allows that air to stay hooked to the side of the car, whipping around and getting back to that back spoiler. So more stability as well. And we talked at the opening of the show, these cars more stable, you're going to see crazier moves, and that's certainly been the case.
When we get the restart, it's going to be Joey Logano in the lead. Let's hear from his new crew chief, Brian Wilson. Jamie?
Well, a lot to talk to Brian Wilson about, but Brian, at this point, no more pit stops. How concerned are you with the motor now making it to the finish?
You know, I'm really not that concerned. I'm more concerned with how aggressive the drafting has been up front. That's caught my attention a couple times with some close calls. TJ Majors is doing a great job. The pit crew's done a great job to keep us up front, but it's going to be a fight to stay up there.
All right, Penske looking for their first Xfinity win, guys. We're going green.
A couple of reminders here, Jamie. Brandon Brown got the free pass. He's on the lead lap, scored 36. Daniel Henrik caught speeding. He restarts 33rd. Up front, Logano, Sadler, Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez, Michael Annett, 34 to go.
How would you like to be, Brandon Brown? Hey, buddy, you got a lap back. We're in good shape. Oh, by the way, we're 36.
Hey, but we've seen it happen today. You can get to the front in a hurry.
34 laps to do it. That's only one car a lap, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Outside lane has worked good here for Logano on that restart.
Yeah, and that was because of Suarez. He just really did a nice job on that start. Got a good push on the back of Logano. Daniel was the key to Joey getting that run.
Let's pay off some drivers in the top 10. Ryan Truex is 6th despite a speeding penalty. Ryan Reed is there. Justin Allgaier having a good day. And Cole Custer's been quiet, top 10. Same for Tyler Reddick, the rookie.
Look at Joey Gase. He's leading that third lane up there with Spencer Gallagher behind him. So these Xfinity racers, they want to be a part of this show.
Let's give some love to Eric Almirola. He's 8th, won at Talladega last spring.
Sorry, I lost the lead there. Just like I said, with the 42 suckered me and side drafted me, and when it kills my momentum, it dies. It falls on its face. And then it takes me a lap and a half to 2 laps to get it spooled back up.
That was prior to that last caution, obviously. Almirola going to have to work through some traffic to get back to the front.
And I'll tell you who else is going to have to work through some traffic is the 42. Kyle Larson. This is the first time I've seen him back in traffic. I'm curious if he can work his way back to the front. We've seen Joey Logano and Chase Elliott do it. Can Kyle Larson?
What's up with him, Matt?
Well, to answer Brad's question earlier, the 42 of Larson, he could be much more decisive and aggressive with his moves the last run right before that stop. He said, I need a significant adjustment. I just cannot make quick moves, which is what I'm going to need to do. Left side tires and a huge chassis adjustment on the 42.
I bet he figures it out, Brad.
I think so, too. He's a world-class race car driver, and this is his moment to shine.
He's led the most laps today. Won stage 1.
Yeah, we caught a Caught a glimpse of several cars in that middle lane, Regan. They're just really dancing around back there. What's Tyler Reddick saying about his car? Is it better now?
Yeah, Michael, way back on lap 12, we heard him complain about what he thought was an electrical issue. They've gotten to the point now where they think it's actually a header with possibly a hole in it. And I know for me, that was always one of the toughest things to diagnose back when I would have that happen in the race car. Brad, it always makes you think you have power going down and gives you issues on the track.
Absolutely, Regan. It's a really peculiar sound inside the car, because when the engine blows up, it sounds the same way it does as when you have an exhaust system leak. And also, it makes the car very, very hot inside the driver's cockpit and full of noxious fumes. So no fun to deal with at all.
Adam, you're seeing the 3 wide get bigger and bigger. We were 2 and 3 rows wide, 3 wide, or back 3 wide. Now it's just most of the pack is back there 3 wide. The clock is ticking. Every lap that we wind off, the intensity level goes up, and these guys have to push.
36 cars on the lead lap. So many still in this mix. Perfect example, Brandon Brown had that speeding penalty, actually for pitting outside the box, lost a lap, got it back, and has gone from 36 to the top 15 in a couple of laps on this restart. You can make up ground, but it's not easy. On board here with Ryan Truex shooting the middle.
Did you just say 36 to 15th?
That's what I said. Make it 11th now, Michael. And the battle for the lead.
Big move here.
Sadler there. His teammate Chase Elliott, they're trying to run by Joey Logano.
Joey Logano took Chase Elliott all the way to the top of the track, which drug Elliott Sadler to the bottom to try to pass him 3 wide. And Joey came down wisely and shut the door on Elliott, used that as a push to retain the lead. Those were big, big moves from all 3 drivers. Just incredible racing.
Joe Nemechek inside the top 10. Austin Dillon, who started at the back. Haven't heard much out of the 3 car, but he is in the mix late.
And I got to tell you, Adam, it takes nerves of steel to do this. I mean, you've got to trust the other racers. What's going on with Logano, Jamie?
Joey Logano just radioed. Motor shut off again. Motor shut off again. Obviously, it's back up to speed, but definitely concerning here in the 22 cam.
I guess we know why. Every once in a while, those behind him get a big push if the engine shuts off, huh?
Wow, that's there's a whole field. I mean, we've made it 91 laps without wrecking. I can promise you, if Joey Logano's motor shuts off in front of the whole field again, and it stays shut off, we're not going to get away with that one.
I don't see how we've gotten away with all that we have. Because they're world-class race car drivers. This is what they do, and they're doing it so well, but so aggressive.
The give and take has been something to watch here this afternoon. Double file as they come across the start-finish line. 28 laps to go. Logano up to 23 laps led. 12 lead changes today among 7 different drivers.
Whoa, Chase Elliott just a little bit late on his block there of Elliott Sadler. He let him back in line, didn't want to wreck his teammate, and he's going to use that for a push to maybe get by Joey Logano here.
Great camera work by our Fox crew. That was beautiful. That big push, Elliott's going to try to use it to get up beside Elliott. I think he's going to make it. He's going to get some help from Kyle Larson in the 42, and here comes the 1 car.
Oh, by the way, the 42 is back. Kyle Larson in the top 5. A lot of speed in that outside lane, helping Elliott Sadler in the blue number 1.
Didn't take him long, did it?
Still amazed Ryan Reed is hanging up there. Brandon Jones has resurfaced inside the top 10. He too got damage on that opening crash at lap 13.
How confident is Joe Nemechek right now? The 54-year-old from Lakeland, Florida, 3rd last night.
7th right now.
Won this race a couple of times. Running 7th right now in that bright red 15 car for Johnny Davis.
And his son is going to be in the field next week. John Hunter Nemechek sharing the 42 at Chip Ganassi Racing with Kyle Larson, a group that won 5 times in 2017 with 3 different drivers. And there's Larson right on cue, looking inside of Elliott Sadler. That's for the 2nd position.
And clears him. Just a really nice side draft maneuver. Used the high lane to turn 4, then got down underneath Elliott Sadler, cleared him through the tri-oval. Just really great tactics.
Looked like that 15 car of Nemechek's I was talking about nearly caught the wall coming through the tri-oval. A little high there. He's running 5th on that outside lane, getting a huge push from Brandon Jones. Brandon's doing a nice job, like you said, Adam.
I like him.
Gibbs cars didn't qualify well.
You cannot lock bumpers in the draft in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. The one of Elliott Sadler, the 88 of Chase Elliott teammates have been posted by NASCAR for doing just that.
Wow. That's a game changer. This will take him out of the race. What happened here, Michael?
Well, we haven't talked about this today because of what you spoke of earlier, Brad. The bubbles on the front won't let you generally lock bumpers, but these two were able to figure out through circumstances a way to push each other. They know they can't do that. It isn't allowed, and NASCAR will bring them to pit road. But Brad, what we have to watch, what we have to be so careful with right here is those two getting low on the racetrack and getting to pit road in the lead pack without causing a wreck.
Yeah, here it comes. They're coming off of turn 4 right now. Both these guys have to pit right now to serve their penalty. Let's see if they can do it without causing an incident.
Green flag pit stops here are not easy. They're both down on the inside, but they do not make the move to pit road. Perhaps they've set themselves up to do it the next time around. Bad news is, as Brad said, with 24 laps to go, they're going to lose all this track position. But they can draft together off of pit road, and if they get a caution, they can stay in this game, Mike.
Well, right now, they just got to get to pit road. You can only run, per the NASCAR rules, a certain amount of laps on the track before they stop scoring you if you do not serve your penalty.
And I think that first time by was probably the crew chiefs down there arguing with the NASCAR officials. Now, Elliott finds himself in the middle of the pack. Can he get to the bottom and get to pit road? He's done that. But watch these guys off 4 as they come to pit road.
Chase Elliott down there as well. I would expect they'll come this time to serve their penalty. Meanwhile, at the front, Larson leading Joey Logano.
Here they
Austin
come,
Dillon is
both on the pit
there.
road.
Daniel Suarez as well. And there go the 1 and 88. Elliott Sadler, Chase Elliott making their penalty, serving their penalty here with 23 laps to go.
This is big. Both of these guys, Adam, Michael, they could win this race, and they're going to have a hard time recovering with this with only 23 laps to go and being some 30 seconds behind the lead.
But look at this pack, Brad. We talked about the blocking. Clint Boyer talked about the blocking. Can they keep pulling it off? Every lap that goes by, it's going to get more intense. If these guys wreck, those two will be right back in the race.
We got a chance for an upset today. Typically the cream rises to the top at Daytona, but there are some unsung heroes.
Right now it's this man walking on the pit box, because I can assure you he was not very popular on top of the pit box. Woo! That's that's going to be a controversial call. We're going to hear about this one for a little bit. I suspect after the race we'll be reviewing this one.
Go back to the frustration for Elliott Sadler. Season finale at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Thought he was in position to win the championship. He was a runner-up for the 4th time in his career. Very much a part of the equation here today to get a win at Daytona and penalized with just over 20 laps to go, likely taking him out of contention.
Oh, whoa.
He's
Can he save it? Wow, what a save. Oh, but
now Cole Custer into the wall. Caution is out.
Oh, this is going to tear up some good cars, too.
Daniel Henrik, the pole sitter. Spencer Boyd is there.
I'll tell you, the 76 car, Boyd, he never quit driving, Brad. He was fighting that thing through the traffic, did a nice job of coming out the other side. I don't think there's much damage to the 76 car. Same with Joey Gase. They were tied up in the wreck, but they just fought their way through it.
This could have been a lot worse than it was. This is actually not a bad wreck. When 11 got down on the apron, it looked like he was going to hook and come up and wipe a bunch out, but these guys, they did a good job minimizing what could have been a really bad wreck.
How big is this break for Elliott Sadler and Chase Elliott? They're right back in it now.
They're back in this race.
What do you say, Matt?
The guys that have the most spiles, the 1 and the 88 teams. There was a little bit of concern about possible damage on the right side of the 1. His spotter, Brett Griffin, said it looks pretty decent. We are good. They are back in this now.
No doubt, Matt. That's awesome. We're going to see a restart with those guys at the back of the pack. That'll be exciting. Let's see what happens to Ryan Truex. Probably gets pushed out of line.
Oh, he gets blocked late by the 16 of Ryan Reed. Definitely makes contact, pushes him underneath the yellow line. Now he's just trying to save it the best he can. That shows you how important the banking is, Michael, because without the banking, these cars will not keep the grip. And he slid right off the flat onto the banking. Did a great job saving it, too.
Didn't look like there was much damage when he came back across the transition.
Watch these cars. There goes Custer.
Yeah, Jeff Green was the black and yellow 38 that came through there.
Look at the 76 on the low side. Just fighting it, fighting it. Gets on the high side of Henrik. Not a lot of damage.
35 of Joey Gase, and the 86, that white and aqua car, that's Brandon Brown, who somehow drove through.
Oh, the onboard with Ryan, this is going to be great. Oh my goodness. You see him make contact with the 16, trying to miss him.
Outside easy here, easy. You're good right here. You're good. You're wrecking up top, Watch the double zero coming down.
We learned the rule last weekend in the Clash. If you pass below the double yellow line and you don't give up that position, you can be penalized. But if you force a driver below the double yellow line, you can as well. Ryan Reed black flagged here. Now let's listen into the 11.
I mean, I was inside of him. I felt like I just got right fronted.
You did. They should black flag him for that, but I doubt they will.
And they did black flag him. Here's Ryan Reed's reaction.
Yeah, I went to block low with 11 committed, and when he did, it just kind of pulled me sideways, and I slapped doors with him. So,
guys, we've talked all day about blocking. That's what the leaders have been doing, but they've been doing it on the racetrack. What NASCAR deemed Ryan Reed did was forced Ryan Truex under the yellow line. And like you said, the rule is if in NASCAR's judgment you force someone down there, you can be black flagged. Blocking the way the leaders are doing it and the way they're racing up front, that's totally allowed. But Reed forcing Truex under the yellow line, that's not allowed.
No, sir.
Guys, I'll say this. I'd have to think long and hard. I don't know if I remember them actually penalizing a driver for this. If they have, it's been a long time, but it's always been the protocol. If you force someone down, it's their discretion. They can black flag you, and that's what they've done here to Ryan Reed.
And Larry, I'm okay with that. You know, there's a lot of controversy about the blocking last week of Stenhouse in the Clash. And the word was he passed below the yellow line. I was fine with that call. He did just that. In that case, Reed definitely knocked Truex down out of the groove. That penalty is just.
So you guys like how we had the ruling play out there?
That might be a little bit of a stretch. I might be a little bit more on the less rules is better, and it gets very complicated. But, you know, we don't want to see guys wrecking each other like that either. So it's just very complicated.
Here's Ryan Truex, Jamie.
Yeah, and he told the team, man, I was on a joyride through the infield over the grass, the dirt, so they wanted to come in and put some fresh tires on for the 11, Matt.
And the 88 of Chase Elliott is in simply to put on fresher tires, a little bit more fuel, and making the run to the finish. They are back in this as well.
Yeah, the guys that really got the payoff for this caution, the two that were penalized for locking bumpers.
You knew it was coming.
And now maybe that controversy that we thought could play out goes away because
now they
find themselves with a chance to go get it. Let's hear once again from Ryan Reed in Team 16.
They're saying you're running below the yellow line, which looked like there's still a whole lane there. I don't know.
Well, you mean when I almost wrecked it? Like, I mean, I was literally just saving my car. He was tucked up under my left rear, pulled out, and got me loose.
These are tough calls, guys. Really tough, objective calls by NASCAR, but sometimes you got to be tough.
got anything? You're gonna have to help me here. I don't even have a blimp pop. And welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Those who live up to their names make one for themselves. Goodyear, more driven. Let's take a look at how this race has gone down so far. Larry, lap 10 is where we'll get started. Austin Syndrich gets loose off 4 and turn 4. He ping-pongs off some guys, and that's one of the only cautions we've seen up until this point.
And you can see Christopher Bell, one of our rookies in that 20 car, involved as well. Not the way these two rookies wanted to start the season, Shannon.
Kyle Larson would go on to win stage 1. We would set up for stage 2. That would go to Chase Elliott. We saw some very aggressive racing throughout this entire race. Chase Elliott was one of the guys, even though he said everybody else was aggressive.
Saw Joey Logano there. It seems like he still continues to have issues with his engine shutting off in that 22 car.
Yeah, he has said that that's happened. He had unapproved modifications to the car early on, but that hasn't stopped him from going back and forth. And then you see the 88 and the 1, certainly front runners for this race, contenders, and they just got penalized because they were locking up. And then this just happened, of course, with Ryan Reed, who won the race last season, pushed Truex down below the yellow line. So 2 calls by NASCAR back to back with guys who could really contend for this win.
This set up a chain reaction of about 6 or 7 cars. You see Cole Custer there to 00, Daniel Henrik, our pole sitter, in the 21, and a host of others. That's the caution, though, that Chase Elliott and Elliott Sadler needed to stay on the lead lap.
Larry, it's been crazy so far, and Adam, 17 to go. You know what that means.
Yeah, it's going to get really good here with about 15 laps to go. We talk about the 88 and the 1 and the caution being big for them. It's also big for Ryan Reed. Instead of a pass-through penalty under green, he starts at the rear here but stays on the lead lap and has a chance to win this thing. There will be 16 laps remaining, Michael.
And he's got a couple of fast cars back there with him. He can hook up and they can charge to the front. We saw Brandon Brown do it earlier.
This is setting up for a Larson-Logano duel.
And Suarez and Almiralo says, well, I'm going to be a part of it too.
Yep.
I just don't think the yellow flag's done flying today. These guys are going to get very aggressive and make those blocks even later. We're going to see some issues.
5 cautions so far. Damage for Daniel Henrik when they repaired it. Too many men over the wall. He'll get a 2-lap penalty. Not the finish to the day our pole sitter would have liked. Larson able to jump way out front on the restart.
And you can see Suarez in the 18 against the 22 just bouncing off of him. They weren't engaged. They weren't locked up, and that's allowed.
.15 laps to go. Elliott Sadler already back up to 15th, Matt.
Adam, after serving that penalty, the caution allowed Elliott Sadler and Chase Elliott to reset their emotions. Here's Elliott Sadler asking to pass along a message.
Well, did 88, I'm sorry. I guess he's in trouble because I was pushing him, I guess. But it used to be you couldn't lock bumpers to advance your position. But I guess that rule has changed today.
I feel for Elliott, I got to be honest. You know, he definitely didn't advance his position, but he also definitely did lock bumpers. But we haven't seen the rule perhaps enforced this strictly for a little while. So, but
well,
you know,
I think they haven't had to call the rule, Brad, because last year these guys could easily hook together. They went to work in the wind tunnel. They used
problems for Garrett Smithley.
For Smithley, and
Michael
also
Annett too.
Annett, great driving by the field to stay off of Annett.
What'd you say, Michael? We weren't done with the caution flag yet today?
And I'm going to go, I hate to say this, Adam, but we're still not. I mean, they're just going to keep battling, pushing, shoving, trying to get anything they can.
And, you know, this is actually bad news for Chase Elliott and for Elliott Sadler. They needed all the laps they can get to go up to the front. We're at 14 laps to go. By the time we go back green, we'll be inside of 10. They need these laps.
Well, luckily it's spinners and they kept going. Hopefully it'll be a quick cleanup and we can get right back to green flag racing. This is too good to miss for sure.
Sadler is, though, already up to the 8th position. Chase Elliott is 12th. And Ryan Truex, who of course went below that double yellow line, he's up in the top 15. On board with him here to take a look at what brought out our 6th caution of the day.
Exit of turn 4.
Truex was trying to get in the hole. Maybe it wasn't quite there. Right there, just trying to squeeze over. Smithley shut the door on him. Just what you're going to see now, huh, Brad?
Towards the end of the race, you're just going to get more aggressive on the blocks, and I don't think Garrett was expecting Ryan to fill that hole. There wasn't much of a hole there, so he'll probably be a little frustrated with that one for sure.
And look what happens to the 5 of Michael Annett. He gets a shove.
You see Brandon Jones right behind Annett working the wheel in the 19. That was a nice job of driving.
You see, as the grass was going underneath the 5 car, Michael Annett right here, watch as it catches on the splitter and just rips it right off. Amazing how these cars will react to this grass and infield section.
Look at those camera shots.
And right about here, it's going to rip off right in this grass.
So close to being able to survive that big slide.
He's had a really good day.
He has. He's been solid. But now his front end's all messed up.
Made the playoffs last year. First season with Junior Motorsports. Some tough times today, Regan.
Yeah, Michael Annett was having a good run all day long today. We saw him up front in the top 5 quite a bit. The splitter is completely gone off of this race car. We've got water coming out of the radiator. His day is likely done right here.
He'll go on to the damaged vehicle policy.
6 minutes this year instead of 5, and the penalty, if you send too many men over the wall, is a 2-lap penalty, not disqualification. But with 13 laps to go and the extent of the damage, it appears the 5 car will call it an afternoon.
Moving awful slow, aren't they, Adam?
You know, by Daytona standards, and certainly if you compare to what we saw here a year ago, this has been a clean race. But when you have this many cars alive this late, one little thing goes wrong and all of a sudden you're going to start building up the number of cars that find their way into the accident. So there's going to be right around 10 laps to go when we go green. Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, Tyler Reddick, and Eric Almirola, the top 5. Justin Allgaier, Austin Dillon, Elliott Sadler, Spencer Gallagher, and Ross Chastain, the top 10. And still anybody's guess who's going to win this thing, because I have a feeling it's going to get dicey once again.
Well, Brad said it looks like it was coming down to a Larson-Logano battle, a duel there, and those two are 1-2. But Daniel Suarez has been so solid, and Eric Almirola has been able to move on those guys all day long. So to me, those two would be your favorite, but man, there's a lot of action left to come.
And what I would expect to see here, Michael, and to all the race fans, I think you're going to see some more aggressive moves. You're going to see Joey do his best to get to Kyle Larson, make those crossover moves and some blocking moves made by Kyle Larson. And that's going to give those guys that opportunity. When they get too wide, start side drafting, that's going to bring the rest of the field to them. So I would suspect that we're not done here by any stretch of the imagination.
Hey, Larson's led the most laps, 48 out front. Who do we think is the favorite as we close on the finish?
I just like the way Logano charged from the back and the moves he made and his history here. He's such a great restrictor plate racer. I think you have to look at Logano. But an upset, a surprise winner could be Daniel Suarez. A lot of speed in that 18 car.
For the top 5, doing double duty, including Daniel Suarez, 3rd, Jamie.
And Eric Phillips just caught him here on a quick break. Eric, you guys have been really good in the hunt all day long, but do you think he'll be aggressive enough at the end? I think that's what it's going to take. And do you have the car to get it done?
Yeah, I think Daniel's done an awesome job. You know, come down here 3 years ago with him and never tore up 2 race cars in about an hour. He's come so far in the last 3 years. He really embraces this speedway racing. We got a really good car. I don't really want to lead right now. I'd like to come down. If we're 2nd or 3rd coming to the checkered, I think we have a shot. The car's been really strong. We just need a little bit more.
Thanks, Eric. Adam?
I love the anxiety that comes over all of these competitors when it comes to the end of one of these races.
This, you know, I've never crew chiefed at the Xfinity or Cup level, but I can tell you, I don't want to be a crew chief at Daytona and Talladega. You do your adjustments and then you just watch from the pit box and just pull your hair out in frustration.
I don't want to be a spotter. Those guys are the coolest cats on the planet. Listen to those guys last night, the way they're able just to calmly call their guy home. I don't get it. I want them to tell me goodnight stories. So soothing.
Hey, and this is the final setup to the big one here tomorrow, NASCAR's version of the Super Bowl, the Daytona 500. Coverage begins 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We're live on Fox. And tonight on FS1, Monster Energy Supercross live from Texas.
Coming up tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on FS1. Jason Anderson will look for his 4th victory of the 2018 Monster Energy Supercross season. The points leader has won the last 2. Can he keep the streak going in the big 450s? And the 250 East Championship will kick off their year, where reigning champion Zach Osborne will look to get off to a great start with a victory at AT&T Stadium. Catch it all live on FS1 at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Roush Shaheen, the crew, have the call tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live from Arlington, Texas. Some business to finish up here at Daytona. 10 laps remaining when we get the green flag.
Just to be clear, these drivers know that locking up is against the rules, and NASCAR has put themselves in a bit of a tough position there with policing that rule. I love the aerodynamic changes they made. It's almost not allowing the cars to lock together. I think do away with that rule going forward.
Michael, that rule needs to go away for sure, because the cars used to be, when you went tandem, they would go faster.
Right.
And it would create a lot of other issues that were very difficult to deal with. With this rule, and specifically with those front flares, the front wickers, whatever you want to call them, that we were showing earlier, it actually makes the cars go slower when they tandem. So I think that rule is really irrelevant to this rules package, but it's still there as it is right now, and they did enforce it as per the rule.
Those that make the decisions are right down the hall if you guys want to go fill them in on your opinion.
I expect they might be listening.
I would guess they are. Larson, Logano, side by side. Larson jumps out front on the restart.
Look at that big run by Justin Allgaier. Oh, and they look like they're together, yes.
Another caution going to come out here, I do believe. That's the 0-1. Nope, he keeps it straight, and I think we're going to stay green.
The caution
Nope, there it
flies.
is. Whew. So close for the 0-1 of Vinnie Miller.
Yeah, it's just gonna be tough for these guys to find enough room to keep from running over each other.
I think as NASCAR, you got to be real careful too when someone goes sideways on a restart, and likely some debris on track because of the damage on the right front for the 0-1.
Yeah, this is definitely another setback for the 88 and the 1 car, who are just desperately trying to get some track position and get back up there from that penalty earlier on. But yeah, here's a big piece of debris. Definitely a good reason for a caution.
And we'll see what happened here. But to your point, we're now going to be down to 7-8 laps to go when we get the restart.
I think Josh Williams, I saw, was apart maybe.
Yep, that's him in the bright orange car.
Yeah, and he was getting pushed from behind. I think it maybe veered him over to the left a little bit.
The 2 of Matt Tifft right behind him.
Those cars got together, and Vinnie Miller wound up with the short end of the stick. Solid run for Miller. Competitive.
You're just not expecting to be 4 wide, are you, this right after the restart?
Brad, you talked about Joey and those guys in the back. People are just frustrated whether you're in the front or the back. You want to race right now.
Absolutely, and Joey Logano is, he actually lost the position on this restart, and I think he's got some radio conversation we should hear about it.
Get every sleeper on restarts, don't I? Oh my gosh. I mean, that was... Hello, we're going. Do you want to push? Yeah, do it.
So what he's talking about here specifically is he's looking for a push on the restart to be able to keep up with Kyle Larson, and he didn't get it. So he's joking a little bit that he got a sleeper behind him.
And that sleeper he's talking about in this case was Tyler Reddick. But watch the 7, the bright orange car on the outside of Allgaier. Big run. But it was a little bit too late because Reddick didn't get going, Brad.
Yeah, and that actually helped to stack the field up behind and cause this wreck that we saw here with the 4 wide.
Where do you want to be now? High lane, low lane? What's the best position to manage the closing laps?
I want to be the leader right now. Right now, we're winding down on laps.
I didn't give that as an option.
And that's where I want to be. I'm going to pick the top or the bottom. I don't, as the leader right now, I think you pick the bottom and you go.
And the reason why you want to be is because you're the guy that can make the break, right?
Absolutely.
Could we see an upset? Tyler Reddick won the truck race here a few years ago. Going to restart in the 5th position. He's in a great spot here, Regan.
Guys, crew chief Dave Ellens has had some success with rookies here, too. Last time here, he won with rookie William Byron. What do you have to do to get Tyler Reddick the win today?
Well, I think just protecting the top right now. We've had a couple motor issues. We're not quite up to speed right now, so I think protecting the top, getting a good run there at the end. Hopefully we get pushed to the front with those guys jockeying around out there. It's been a great race.
Ellen's won here last summer, as Regan mentioned with William Byron. Also won this race 2 seasons ago when Chase Elliott was driving the 88. So Ellen's knows and understands where victory lane is when it comes to this place.
I'm going to be pulling for number 9. I want to see an upset. I want to see one of these Xfinity guys, Justin Allgaier, Spencer Gallagher. I want to see them figure out a way to get up there and take these Cup guys down. Who are you pulling for, Brad?
Well, I had Chase Elliott at the start of the race, but it's going to be so tough for him to get there from 10th. And we have a splitter stuck under the wall right now, so this is going to take a second for NASCAR to get out and get fixed. This is going to take a second.
So they got the splitter. Cleanup is about complete. And as we anticipate the green flag, let's get ready for next Saturday afternoon, Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Xfinity drivers are bringing some extra heat to hot Atlanta. Kyle Busch has stolen the show the last 2 years, but it's time for a new star to shine. These boys will need to get rowdy in order to make it across the finish line first. See if they have what it takes. Saturday on FS1. Coverage begins with race day at 1:30 p.m. Eastern.
And that's a doubleheader. Xfinity Series at 1:30, followed by the Camping World Truck Series.
And I think the best weather forecasts for Atlanta in the history of March. We're going to go to February even. I mean, we're going to go down there with forecasted highs in the 70s, perfect weather. And Brad, you're so good at that Atlanta racetrack. What's it like leaving Daytona where you're flat on the floorboard all the way around and then going to Atlanta where slipping and sliding is the key to winning?
You know, it's funny you bring that up because the fastest average speed here at Daytona so far through speed weeks for the Cup side has been about 203 mile an hour. And Atlanta, we'll hit about 203 mile an hour, but then we'll go to the corner and we'll slow down to about 160 mile an hour. But in some ways, Atlanta feels faster than Daytona. The cars, they slide all around. They go over these big bumps up and down, and it's hold on, I'll tell you what. But it's been a good track for us. We won there last year, and we're looking to come back and do it again.
Certainly is fun for the fans to watch. I love to watch you guys let those rear ends hang out and slip and slide.
One thing that will be different from this week to next, we've had a handful of no-tire pit stops here at Daytona. It's not going to happen next week at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
You're going to run one lap and want tires because tire wear there is so aggressive, and that's a good thing. The drivers love Atlanta. That's one of our favorite things about it.
So Larson is leading this thing, Matt. He's led the most laps, but he's got a few more out front if he's going to close the deal, get his first win here.
Adam, a big decision also on deck is which lane do you want to choose for this final restart, Mike Shiplett?
Well, the DC Solar car has been really good on the bottom all day, so I leave that up to Kyle to see what he wants to do, but I would imagine since we've been on the bottom all day, I would suspect we'd be on the bottom, get going on this restart.
What are some of the factors that he's trying to think over, mulling which lane to go with?
No, it's just who's behind you, who's been pushing us the best. You know, we've had 118 laps here so to figure out who was best pushing us, so we'll see what happens here at the end. Good luck. Thank you.
Going to be only 6 laps to go, Matt, when we get this restart. Larson, Suarez up there, Logano, Almirola, row 2. Then it's Reddick and Austin Dillon. And keep an eye on Elliott Sadler and Chase Elliott. And now I'm being informed 2 laps to go, so there'll be 5 laps remaining when we go green. There's the duo that was penalized with just over 20 laps to go in this race. Got the caution when they needed it. Didn't lose a lap, but is there enough time coming from row 5 for the teammates from Junior Motorsports?
I think they can make a run at it for sure. If there's 5 green flag laps, then that certainly helps their chances. Another caution and a restart is going to be dicey.
I know I wouldn't say no, but they're going to have to really work for it and really earn it, restarting where they are. But you know that this field's going to mix up a couple more times with this restart. We've already seen the restarts be kind of crazy as it is,
and it almost I wouldn't say it's a huge advantage being with a teammate back there because you're just going to have to go.
Yeah.
If there's a hole, you can't worry about where your partner is. You got to hit the road.
You want to work with your teammate. You don't have time. Yeah. You got to start throwing some Hail Marys right now if you're Chase and if you're Elliott Sadler. And when you throw Hail Marys, you know that means you have to throw caution to win and leave your teammate behind at times. But that's what it's going to take right now. There's not enough laps.
Don't rule this out. We could always see overtime. It's happened many times at this racetrack. 12 last lap passes at Daytona, including 4 of the last 8. And now we've been given the 1 to go.
Now, Larry McReynolds, we got we got plenty of gas, right? Everything's good on that front.
Oh, yeah. We all pitted roughly all the way back with about, 30-something to go. So, and just think about all these cautions, Michael. That buys you a lot of time. So I think everybody's good to go there.
I'm a race car driver, Larry. I worry about that kind of stuff.
we pitted at lap 83. So again, that was 37 to go. All these cautions, no. Even if we went to overtime, we're good there.
Well, you lose one race on fuel mileage, and for the rest of your life, you think about it, don't you?
That's exactly right.
And there you see the numbers for those guys out front and when they made their last pit stop. We have spent a lot of time under caution. What are you thinking about as a driver? Can you overmanage in your mind what's about to happen?
Adam, you can definitely overthink this and then have a simple mistake like on the restart, miss a shift. You have to be really careful because the drivers, they're ready. I mean, the adrenaline's pumping, the energy's pumping, they're ready to go, and we're going slow. And so it wears on you. That adrenaline can actually play against you, and you can start running scenarios through your head and kind of almost panicking. So right now, these drivers are taking a deep breath, or they need to be taking a deep breath to get ready to go here.
And you know, you heard Joey complain earlier about not getting a push on the restart like you'd hoped to get. Wasn't complaining, just saying that was bad luck. Now he's in a position where he can hook right to Larson. He can push the heck out of Larson and see if that opens any doors for him.
I would look for Joey Logano here to try to push Kyle Larson clear on the restart and then back up and try to get a run to pass him.
It's 5 o'clock on the East Coast. If you're just joining us on FS1, perfect timing. Restart, 5 to go. Season opener for the Xfinity Series at Daytona International Speedway. Kyle Larson is the leader.
Look at Joey. He's able to pull even with Suarez. Suarez has got a nice push from Almirola from behind. Almirola needs to make sure he doesn't engage those bumpers. Looks like he's bouncing on and off of 18. You can see it there. Oh, nice job by Daniel.
Suarez is
opening the hole.
He's going to get him here.
Got some drafting help coming from behind. That's the youngster Tyler Reddick in the 9.
Tyler was trying to go to the middle. He was just a touch too late, and Daniel blocked him. Joe Logano's going to take the middle.
What a move by Logano.
3 wide for the lead in the closing laps at Daytona. Wow.
Big wiggle for Kyle Larson. He leads at the stripe. 4 laps to go. Look at Suarez outside lane.
Keep it clean, boys. I want to see this battle. This is beautiful stuff.
I believe Joey Logano's in the right spot here. He's going to get a push here and probably break free. And he'll make a challenge at Kyle Larson from here if he can break free. He's going to break free the bottom right here. He's going to break free the top right here. This is his chance now. He's going to be able to recharge from here.
Here comes
3 wide, your bear, help from the bottom. Half back, half, 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 half. There he is, right there, the 7. He is clear in your mirror. The 7 is
now
clear.
He's going to try to pull this crossover, but the 7 fills it on him. He's not going to be able to make the run.
Look at Elliott Sadler. He's up in the top 5. Here comes Chase Elliott as well.
Through the tri-oval, 3 laps remaining at Daytona. It's still Kyle Larson.
So now the guys in the second and third, they're all trying to charge runs up. The problem is no one will go with them. They hang them out, and that's why we see these guys side by side and nobody able to challenge Kyle Larson.
Logano looked to the high side. Larson throws the block, and there goes Elliott Sadler out of line.
Yellows out.
Caution's out.
8th time today.
Wow, and Joey Logano had a big run on Kyle Larson right there off of turn 2, gave him a push and almost turned Kyle Larson. That was big.
And I think in that situation, Brad, Joey could have turned Kyle Larson. Probably just let him go right there.
Definitely could have. That was intense.
That's the only word to describe it.
Joey was trying to make a move a few corners earlier off of turn 4 where he went to the top and tried to come back down, and Justin Allgaier made a move to really protect Kyle Larson by challenging him on the bottom. Just incredible racing.
We wondered if Elliott and Chase Elliott could get there. They did, Adam. They were in the top 5, but watch what goes wrong.
Oh, Joey he was there. Looked like Elliott just got a little bit more of a bump than what he could hold on to. It's a tough spot coming off the corner and transitioning from the banking to the flat. The cars are light right there, and it doesn't take much.
See him wandering off the bottom there? That's not a good sign.
It doesn't take much.
This will be the 15th overtime finish for the Xfinity Series here at Daytona International Speedway.
Not much help out the back, but they're rolling good in front on the bottom. 3 wide fin, bottom. Still green right now. Still yellow is out. Yellow is out.
Joey let Kyle go there. That was going to be big, but it definitely helped stack up the field and cause this spin right here.
I just think Elliott Sadler couldn't hold his car low. It kind of wandered up and he had the wheels cut a little bit, and then just the slightest of contact around he went.
Definitely a vulnerable spot.
You know who's in great position to have a big day? The man that enjoyed a career year in 2017, Justin Allgaier. He's second for this restart, Regan.
Yeah, Justin's crew chief, Jason Burdett. Jason, your driver's put himself in position, second for this restart. Do you care if you end up with the top or the bottom right here?
No, I guess not. You know, Justin's done an amazing job all day long, just going to the middle and then back to the front, the middle, front, and he's got us in a spot to, you know, that we got a shot at winning. I mean, that's really all you can ask for in these deals. Larson and Logano are super aggressive right now, so hopefully we can just keep up with them and, you know, make the right move at the right time and get ourselves in victory lane.
Hey, Regan, is that 7 car ever won here at Daytona?
The 7 car has won here at Daytona. Jason was not my crew chief when we did those, but a lot of history with this car at Daytona, yes.
Yeah, Regan driving that car to victory lane back in 2014. Joey Logano going to be 3rd on this overtime restart.
I felt like I had to try to make the move with my shot. I think weight is the game here.
Yeah, man, I completely agree on that. It's so hard to pass here. If you've got a shot to get the lead, you got to take it.
Exactly.
You look at the top 3 rows on what's going to be an overtime restart. 3 drivers have wins at Daytona, 3 others looking for their first. Sun is setting in Daytona Beach, Florida. Been a great Saturday for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. The Powershares QQQ 300. We're heading to overtime. A reminder of the rules. It's a 2-lap shootout. Now, once the leader takes the white flag,
the next flag ends the race, whether it's the caution or they get the checkered. But should the caution come out prior to the leader getting to that white flag, we reset them, do it all over again, and we can stay here as long as we need to determine a winner tonight.
And we might tonight, the way this thing's been going. So much action in this race.
I'm looking at right now, this race will most likely be decided by the launch on the restart. If Kyle Larson can clear the outside lane from the start-finish line to the exit of turn 2, he should be able to control the pace as the leader. This is a critical part of the race right here.
Front row, Larson, Allgaier. Neither is won here. It's overtime at Daytona, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
And he's not going to be able to do it. Big push from Eric Almirola on the top of Justin Allgaier. He's going to be able to keep Kyle Larson honest. That's huge right here.
And that's what we saw from the last restart from Allgaier. He's been on his game, but a big wiggle by Allgaier.
Now they're going 3 wide. Almirola up the middle. Logano pushing Larson in that lower lane. Look at Allgaier getting drop kicked.
Oh no, there they go.
Spinner into the wall, Almirola. Larson out of shape. So is Chase Elliott. And the caution is out again.
Wow, we made it so far, Michael, but we just couldn't keep this up. Oh, and they're still hitting.
When we got the green flag, there were 32 cars on the lead lap. You knew there was a potential of this, and now we'll have a second overtime restart here at Daytona.
And Daniel Suarez comes out the survivor. Ryan Reed second right now. That's huge. Ryan Reed's going to go for 3 wins here at Daytona, and he's in a great spot to do it.
Look at the drivers up front, and this is all unofficial as things reset, but Suarez, Ryan Reed, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Truex, and Spencer Gallagher. Right now, that's what timing and scoring is showing as our top 5. If ever there was a chance to get a surprise winner, we may be setting up for it right here.
We talked about Kaz Grala in the pre-race show. He's up to the 7th position. We'll just have to see who has what kind of damage that made it through the wreck, Adam. 2000 series champ Jeff Green, he finds himself in the top 10 late in the going.
See all the damage.
Just a
Here's
big
what happened.
push here from Chase Elliott to Eric Almirola. Kyle Larson goes up to block it, but he just can't sustain it. They're not up to speed. The cars aren't set in the rear, and it just huge spin, as you can tell. Looked like Chase at the very end got a push from Daniel, which actually turned him sideways. You can see they're only at 180 mile an hour, so the cars aren't at full speed right now. They're not set down in the racetrack. That makes them really easy to spin. We'd seen contact like this earlier in the race, but at this speed, the rear heights in the car aren't set. They're not down in the racetrack. They don't have the downforce. They're way more susceptible to spinning with that contact.
Did you see some of those guys slipping through that wreck? There goes Alex Labbe from Canada. He made it through. And then just the job Spencer Gallagher did to squeeze through.
3 into right front. 4 looking outside. Let's spin down low, spin both sides, stay middle, stay middle, stay middle, stay middle.
How eventful has the day been for Ryan Truex in that 11?
This will tell the tale here.
So it looks to me like from this view that Kyle Larson just didn't quite get high enough on Eric Almirola. He was trying to maybe protect the inside a little bit, and the push wasn't quite as square as he needed, again, with the car not at full speed.
You can see Joey Logano into the outside wall. There's Joe Nemechek in the 15 Johnny Davis car. Wow, look, the track's blocked.
And Chase Elliott was going to come through clear, but right at the last second, he gets hit by the 18. Look at the car try to come off the ground. The roof flaps engaged, uses the aerodynamics to put it back down on the ground. Chase actually drives away from this in decent standing.
Pretty clean start to the race. Stages 1 and 2, fairly uneventful, but we're starting to catch up to ourselves. Working our 9th caution now on an overtime restart. And Joey Logano, you saw there, able to climb from his race car. Double overtime on the way on FS1. First overtime restart in the books here at Daytona for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Caution came out, so we'll clean things up and do it all over again. Leading is Daniel Suarez, but he's got some damage on his race car. We will monitor that. Second right now is Ryan Reed, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Truex, Spencer Gallagher, the top 5. Listen to the top 10. Ross Chastain is 6th. Kaz Grala is 7th. Chase Elliott is 8th. Alex Labay is 9th. And somehow Elliott Sadler, who brought out the caution to force overtime, has worked his way back into the top 10. Could get an upset here today. No one would be surprised if Ryan Reed won this race, because when you look at what's happened here the last few years, he seems to always find his way to the front.
And I don't think anybody would be surprised if Reddick or Ryan Truex won either. Truex been so close on many occasions in the trucks. Maybe he gets it done here.
Reddick pulled a mini upset a few years ago driving in the truck series for our guy Brad. Maybe he can do it today. Position behind the wheel for Dale Jr. Getting ready for our second overtime restart here at Daytona. Ryan Reed going to come from the 2nd position. Driver out of Bakersfield, California, got his first career win here in 2015. And it was not a stroke of luck. But what happened last year, luck was definitely on his side. You saw the slide through the grass. Then he holds off some of NASCAR's best to win for the 2nd time in his career, made the playoffs. It was a thriller.
Yeah, in 15, the seas sort of parted for that young man. He drove to victory lane. He beat the best last year to win this race.
But look what's happened to him today. This was just past lap 10. He gets damage, but stays in the game. Great job by Phil Gould and that 16 team. Then here he's penalized by NASCAR for forcing the 11 of Ryan Truex below the double yellow line. There was another crash a couple of laps later on a restart, but he's able once again to find his way through. And now Ryan Reed in position for his 3rd win at Daytona. And if he gets it here today, he would become the 4th driver to get his first 3 wins in his career at the same racetrack, joining Marcus Ambrose, Ron Fellows, and Tony Stewart. And you should also remember this about Ryan Reed. A number of years ago, he was diagnosed with diabetes. He wears a monitor inside that car that monitors his blood sugar level. If it gets too low, one of the crew members can come over and give him a shot of insulin. He deals with so much adversity off the track, was told he would never race again, and now here he is in position at Daytona to get his 3rd win.
And don't you love the way that car looks? This has been a tough race. He looks like he's a tough guy.
And he's in position right now. Daniel Suarez is leading, but I got to be honest, Daniel Suarez has a lot of damage from that last crash. I don't know if Daniel Suarez can keep Ryan Reed back on this restart when it comes in a few laps. I'm leaning towards Ryan Reed right now, being in the spot right now to win this race. Long ways to go, though.
Let's go to Jamie Little.
And Eric Almirola was right there in the middle of it all. I know you said you're okay, but take us through what exactly happened.
We were just racing really aggressively. We were trying to go get a Xfinity win, and really proud of everybody at Stewart Haas Racing with Biaggi Dembesi. They brought me a really fast Ford Mustang, and Kyle, he pulled up to block me, which he was doing a great job of that all day. He was blocking everybody's runs and, you know, doing a really good job of staying out in the lead, but he pulled up to block me right there, and I had a huge run with the 88 helping, and he just blocked like halfway, and I clipped him in the right rear quarter panel. The one, I think, was inside of me, so I hooked him, and he started tank slapping back and forth, and all hell broke loose. So I hate it that we tore up so many good cars, but I really thought we were going to go to victory lane here like we've done a few times before. So disappointed, but tomorrow's another day. I'm tired of visiting this infield care center, I can tell you that. So hopefully all the bad luck's out of the way, and we'll have a good day tomorrow in the Daytona 500.
It was a great effort, and something's happening with the 18. Sounds like he may be out of fuel, guys.
That's the case, and I'll tell you, there are a number of other guys that last pitted at lap 83 like him.
I should have told him. My fault.
Oh, Larry, I thought we had plenty enough fuel.
That was before the last overtime.
This might not be that he doesn't have enough fuel in the cell. He might not have enough fuel in the fuel pickup box, which is inside the fuel cell. So what happens is when the cars run up on the banking, especially with the Xfinity cars that do not run fuel injection, they run carburetors, they use a fuel pickup box. And the fuel pickup box is in the right rear corner, which is great when the cars are at speed. It moves all the fuel into that corner. But on the high banks of Daytona, when you're going slow, all that fuel runs out of that box when you get low on fuel, and that might be what happened here.
And over there on the back straightaway, Adam, it looks like the safety car has turned on his lights again, which
get
means
one more lap.
another lap, which will put other people closer to running out of gas.
So while we await the green flag, let's hear one more time from Jamie Little with Austin Dillon involved in that last crash.
And he started in the back, worked his way to the front. You should have seen the front of that race car when you brought it back to the garage. Big hit for you. First off, Austin, are you okay? And what happened from your perspective?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. I mean, I knew we were sitting in a bad position there. You don't want to be past 4th or 5th there on the last restart because the top 2 are going to block. And they did. I thought that maybe the 98, I don't know, the 42 kept coming. The 98 didn't have a little gap, a half a gap maybe, and they just turned each other. And from there on, if I would have cut left, I would have probably wrecked more people and decided to go straight and tore up our Bass Pro Shops Cabela Chevy. But had fun today. I kind of rode around for a little while and was able to get right to the front and just made a couple probably mistakes that could have kept better track position. So looking forward to tomorrow's race though, and Dow Chevy's been good, so I'll go have fun 500 miles.
All right, Austin Dillon starts 14th tomorrow in the Daytona 500, guys.
Thanks, Jamie. And I'm looking at the lineup for the restart. Spencer Gallagher going to go from 3rd. He could pull an upset today here, Regan.
Yeah, veteran crew chief Chad Norris, your first day on the job with Spencer Gallagher. What are you telling your young driver to get him ready for this restart?
Just to be patient and do what he's doing all day long. You know, he's drove a really great race today, so we just got to finish it off for this last green-white checker and try to get a really good result today and hopefully a win.
Adam, Spencer's been doing a nice job all day long in and out of the top 5.
I'm going to that party. Spencer Gallagher wins this race. I want to see what that's all about. This kid is so fun, so young, so enthusiastic, and so thankful to be behind the wheel of a race car.
Can you imagine the welcome home when we get to Las Vegas in a couple of weeks? Right now, it's the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Tonight, Monster Energy Supercross. They're in Arlington as the heroes wage war on the dirt. Don't miss our coverage live on FS1. It happens at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or you can stream it live at Fox Sports Go. What do you have for us, Jamie?
Joey Logano has been checked and released. Started in the back of the field, and what a show he put on. You led 27 laps today. I thought maybe it was your day, besides the motor issues. But what happened up there at the front of the field?
Hey, there's a lot of adversity. We came over today with the Fitzgerald Glider Kits Mustang, and I mean, they're just pushing really hard up top, and you see it, and Eric was getting spun, and he was pushing, and I just, what are you going to do? It's the end of the race, and no one's going to lift, and I think I got hit by every car on the way through there. I kept thinking I was done crashing, and here come another one. But yeah, just part of it. You know, sometimes you're the bug, and sometimes you're the windshield on these things. And what are you going to do? It's just you know, circumstances. But yeah, we had a good car. Had a lot of fun coming from the back in the beginning of the race and passing a ton of cars and getting up there and running up front. And you know, it was a good race. You know, between the 42 and the 88 and Eric as well. It was a fun race there, so it'll be exciting at the end. I'm sure it'll be a lot more pushing one more time, so it'll be fun.
We'll see Logano Tuesday NASCAR Race Hub. You're with us this week as well, right?
Yes,
Brad?
Thursday. But first we got to finish this race, and Ryan Reed is in the spot to do it.
Overtime, 2-lap shootout once again.
He gets a great push from Spencer Gallagher, but the lanes are tied up. They're even. A little stronger on the bottom. Tyler Reddick has got to run now to take the lead.
Reddick getting a good shove in that lower lane. Going to take over the lead as they go through turns 1 and 2.
Oh, look at that run Gallagher has into the back of Truex. He's getting pounded from Chastain. Oh, around he goes.
Oh, wow. This is already the longest race. We'll see if NASCAR throws a yellow.
Yes, they do. They've been consistent today.
Yellow's out.
As soon as the car spins, the flag flies, and unfortunately, Spencer Gallagher did a perfect job on the restart. Got to the bottom, was given a good push, and they just got all tangled up.
Going to have overtime number 3. How concerned are these guys about fuel now, Larry?
Yeah, I mean, Adam, even if we go to lap 133, that's 50 laps since most of these guys pitted, like Tyler Reddick and like Kaz Grala. But right now, we have run 30 caution laps. And you know, I go back to the old theory of my days, it was 2-1, but Brad knows this as good as anyone. It's a lot greater than that, cautions to green, because they're shutting the car off. I can't make myself believe they had that 18 car full of fuel. He should not have run out.
Okay, so when you look at the drivers up front, there's only a couple of them that made their last pit stop at lap 83, Tyler Reddick and Kaz Grala. Other guys came after lap 100. They should be good to go. Here's a replay that brings out the caution.
Well, this is a little bit of Newton's cradle here, where you get 3 or 4 cars hitting each other. The energy just makes it really hard for the middle, and of course the end guy gets the biggest run here. He's going to use that to make a pass for the lead, but the guy in the middle, he's in a lot of trouble. Gets turned around here by Ross Chastain.
You know, Ross and Spencer both did a great job of putting themselves in a position to have the speed, the momentum to push to the lead.
You've got the push. Outside the push. Clear up.
They were doing the job they were supposed to do.
Behind you here. Keep coming.
And you see it worked. It gave him the energy he needed to get by Tyler Reddick and take the lead as this yellow comes out. I really thought Ryan Reed was in the spot to win this race. And let's review that really quick. What happened here is the 18 ran out of fuel after they were already double filed. That means the 16 was stuck in the outside lane on this restart, did not have the help he needed. If he could have relined up on the bottom, he had a better shot at being able to retain the lead. He wasn't able to do that. Ryan Truex, of course, in his lane, along with Tyler Reddick, were able to use that lower lane and clear him to make the lead and to take it away from him. That was a big difference maker.
I thought last year was crazy here with 10 cautions. We've now had 10 today. Drivers being given the 1 to go as they come across this time. Ryan Truex, Tyler Reddick, the top 2. Then it's Ryan Reed, Elliott Sadler, and Chase Elliott as we go to Jamie.
And Justin Allgaier has been checked and released. Just guys being aggressive up front, and you end up back here once again, Justin.
Yeah, it's disappointing. We had a really fast Brian Fresco Agriculture Camaro SS, and unfortunately that last restart, we started on the outside of the front row. I thought we were going to be in good shape, and Eric got to my corner of my bumper, and I couldn't turn left. I was stuck kind of where we were at, and once we started losing spots there, it was frustrating, but then they all started crashing in front of me. And for us, it's disappointing because Junior Motorsports brought 5 really good race cars, and I still got 3 of them up there battling for a win. So hopefully one of those guys can pull it off. Hopefully we get a Camaro in victory lane. And it was the 100th race for Xfinity, and I really was hoping we'd be close to winning one of these things. And unfortunately, we're not going to have that opportunity today.
All right, Adam, let's see if we can finish it off this time.
Jamie, today it's the season opener for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Tomorrow it's the Daytona 500.
The race all drivers dream of winning.
Dale Earnhardt will win the Daytona 500.
The race that tests the series best.
At the line, Eddie Wilson. Jeff Gordon's going to win his 3rd Daytona 500.
Whose dream will become a reality?
Coverage begins tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Unfinished business today. Tyler Reddick getting set to restart second.
I don't know what's going on, but it did not want to get going that time at all. It got a whole lot worse. I don't think it's fuel related, but I think we got something.
Don't worry about it, my man. You just save some gas right now.
And clear your mind. You got to just assume, Brad, that thing's going to go. You're going to get the restart of your life, and you're going to be in a position to win this race.
But he's nervous, and I understand it. It's Daytona. First race of the year. Big race to be able to win. Really surprised here. Ryan Truex picked the high side. He's counting on Elliott Sadler. Elliott Sadler's back in this race. He's counting on Elliott Sadler to give him the push he needs to win this thing. This is going to be interesting.
Ryan Truex, first start with this team. Big opportunity for him in his career. Could he pull off a victory at Daytona? Overtime number 3.
I think that choice of the outside line was they think Truex is going to get a better push from Sadler.
And it's not working. Here comes the 16 with Ryan Reed and Tyler Reddick. The inside line is going to prevail.
And now Sadler drops down low. Truex going to be hung out perhaps in the high lane.
They're ping-ponging off of each other in the back. Truex drops to the bottom and gets in line. Kind of shape are they in to make it down the back? 3 wide.
Tyler Reddick has got to run the best lap and a half of his life here. He's got to make the right blocks, the right moves to be able to win this. He's got a shot at, he's won here before in the Truck Series. He's going to really get tested here by Ryan Reed and Elliott Sadler.
Oh, I don't know if those guys are going to make it off turf. No, they didn't. Will the caution flag fly?
Did he get to the start-finish line? We'll see here.
The
caution did not come out. Oh, there it goes. Caution flag comes out with the white flag.
The yellow came out.
The question becomes, did the caution come out before Tyler Reddick got to the start-finish line?
I think it did. I think the yellow came out before.
If it did, we'll reset him and do it again. If it did not, Tyler Reddick will win this race. We need to get a ruling from NASCAR.
I saw the flag wave, and the flag is usually right behind the lights. The lights will be the determining factor.
It was so close.
They're telling him to save fuel, so the crew chief is unsure about the call from NASCAR. We have to look at the electronic data and see exactly when the flags flew.
But here's how this works. Once the leader takes the white flag, it's the next flag that ends the race. We're just not sure if he got the white before the caution came out.
This one's going to be really close. I think it was about 100 foot short.
And we have been told, Brad is correct, he did not get to the white flag. We will get a 4th overtime finish.
I mean, it was so close here, guys. Tyler Reddick has got to be, cringing.
Top left of your screen, look at the lights. Brad, you said 100 feet.
It might be less than that. There it is.
There it is. He definitely did not get to the line. And I was watching our lights that we keep as a part of our graphics package. But as you said, Brad, that's not what we go by. It's actually when the flag comes out, and that was the difference.
So close. You got this again, man. Keep your box full. It's going to be great.
And that's that fuel box he's talking about, Brad, that you alluded to earlier, making sure he keeps plenty of fuel over to the right side of that tank.
I'm losing count. A 4th overtime coming up. What a spectacular finish.
What about Elliott Sadler?
This is unbelievable.
He's going to end up, if he gets behind Tyler Reddick here, he's going to be the deciding factor of who wins this race. He might even have a shot at it, too.
No question.
And remember Chase Elliott? the guy that you felt like might be a favorite today?
He's back in it too. He's 5th.
Well, what about the teammates from JD Motorsports? Garrett Smithley went for that spin and ride through the grass. He's in the top 10, going to restart 7th. His teammate Ross Chastain is there. Talked earlier about Alex Labay, who is 9th. Cesar Baccarella driving a 3rd car for BJ McLeod in the top 10. What do you think here, Regan?
I just grabbed Dave Owens' leg and said, "Are you good? Are you good?" He said, "I don't really know." He thought 141 is when they would be out. If that's the case, they should be okay.
This race is probably going to go right to about 139 to 140. So that's within 1 or 2 laps. Larry, you promised me we were good on fuel. What happened here, buddy?
The crew chief has to calm the driver down.
He
just made us
those
feel
numbers
better.
Not off of 4 overtimes. But I still believe with the number of cautions, Brad and Michael, that we've run, I mean, right now, we're closing in on 35 caution laps, and we basically run 51 laps. So over half of this run has been under caution.
And Larry, I know you'll find this hard to believe, but we have tied a record for number of cautions in an Xfinity race here at Daytona.
We started out so promising, Adam.
I know.
We really did.
And now 4 overtimes in the Powershares QQQ 300. Let's go to the leaders camp.
This is just crazy considering the day we're having, that we're here.
Keep saving fuel.
Let's focus on the task at hand. That's save some fuel, keep ourselves in a position to win this race.
How many times today, and we're all guilty, how many times today have we said, oh, that's tough, that's going to end his chance to win this race? And a number of the drivers that we have said that about are right in position to go out and get a victory in this thing. Matt, what do you have for us?
Adam, I checked in on both cars that are in row 2. Kevin Mendering said they are good to go on fuel for Elliott Sadler. What a great recovery he's had. And Chris Rice told me his young driver, Ryan Truex, they are good to go as well.
Ryan Truex, as I said, first race with this team, a single car operation that's just in their 3rd year of existence, made the playoffs last couple of years with Blake Cook. They could shock the world here today.
Remember what seemed to be a long time ago when Chase Elliott and Elliott Sadler got in some issues and we thought, oh, no.
Done.
They said, they'll get a caution. I didn't know they'd be in 2 more wrecks, spin out, and still be in contention for the race.
Let's look at highlights, and these are just since we passed regulation. Kyle Larson out front. They couldn't make it down the back straightaway. A number of good cars taken out right here. Chase Elliott, Joey Logano. Overtime number 2, Spencer Gallagher gets out of shape going down the back straightaway. A 3rd attempt. We made it to turn 4. In fact, Tyler Reddick wasn't too far away from getting the white flag and winning this thing. Instead, Ryan Ellis, Kyle Larson, and others have issues. The caution comes out once again, and another overtime restart.
Wow, there's just so much going on in this race. And the 88 has lost his right side window. In all this chaos, you have to have a right side window. So NASCAR has black flagged him to fix this. This is really important because when the cars get sideways, the right side window keeps the cab from filling with air and keeps the car from going up in the sky and flying. So NASCAR is going to make him have this.
If he's got another window, Adam, I believe he can get back in this thing.
Yeah, why not? In our 8th overtime, right? He was being scored inside the top 10.
So the team has to find a right side window before they can get released from pit road. This is I can guarantee you there's somebody running to a hauler at the fastest speed possible. They've got about 60 seconds here.
Aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. Those who live up to their names make one for themselves. Goodyear, more driven.
Here he is. He's running. He's got to find a window, and I think he might be a little bit late.
We're going to go green next time around. Still showing 25 cars or so on
there he goes.
The lead lap.
It is a relay. I know that this is David Mayo running as fast as he can.
He's going to be out of gas. Look at him hustling.
He's got some good speed to
That's
him.
a right side window in a pouch, and if he can get there before...
Dale Jr., I know you're watching. Give this guy a bonus on Monday. That's a great effort.
Oh, yes, they're waiting on you guys.
Got to have a helmet.
Look at the cheering from the teammates.
Nice job, guys.
Got to let him go.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, he's going to get out of there.
He makes it.
He's going to need another caution.
That's a team effort. Look at the crowd cheering.
And the way things are going, he'll probably get another caution. Reddick takes the inside lane. Ryan Reed to his right, row 2. Elliott Sadler, Ryan Truex, Kaz Gralla, Garrett Smithley in row 3.
Just remember, if one of these cars sputter on fuel, that could cause a mess as well.
I believe I'm right in saying the only driver in the top 10 with a win at Daytona is Ryan Reed. Overtime once again.
Elliott Sadler's going to give a great push to his teammate Tyler Reddick.
Is he too far out front?
He is way too far out in front. He's about 5 car lengths. They're going to come to him really, really fast here, and he's going to have to make a big block. Ryan Reed, Elliott Sadler, both are in a great spot here. We'll see which way Tyler blocks.
You got to manage that gap. He could be fine, though. He gets to the corner. He can take some track away from those two. He might be able to manage this.
Ryan Reed and Elliott Sadler were door to door, and that stalled both cars out. Caution's out again. We're going to get a 5th overtime.
This is unreal.
Save, 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 save.
What happened?
Save, save, save.
Must have
We've
been
got somebody
debris.
stalled on the backstretch.
There we go. Dylan Lupton in the 28.
His day started yesterday, Adam, with a big spin and practice and survived that.
Oh, something breaks on his car.
Yeah, looks like a track bar probably, doesn't it?
Yep. You can always tell when they crab walk like that. He hit pretty hard. NASCAR has to throw a yellow for this.
Yeah. Something in the rear suspension let go.
You can see all the oil on the racetrack where the radiator. And the whole field would have had to drive back through this on the next lap, so this wouldn't have been fair.
No way you can let that go.
Nope.
We've broken the record, 12 cautions here today.
So this is the longest mileage Xfinity race.
No question.
We're working on time, right?
Guys, I'm out of the fuel mileage business. Here's what I'm telling my drivers: save fuel, good luck, and Godspeed's all I can tell you.
And to confirm for you, Brad, longest race as far as mileage ever at Daytona, when you talk about the Xfinity Series. Scheduled for 120 laps. We're going to go north of 140 today. Yeah.
Whew, and I'll tell you what, it's taking my breath away. I thought last year being in the race, Adam, was stressful. I'm stressed up here in the booth. Wow, these guys have really drove their butts off today. And, you know, you use all that adrenaline to get through the race. And when you get to the end, it's just, this is like a heavyweight prize fight. It's who's got something left in the tank in the car and inside themselves to be able to make things happen.
And now, for good measure, we get a tweet from Dale Jr.
Well, thank you, Dale. I appreciate that very much. Dale's got a car in the lead. He's got a great shot of winning this. He's got one that just got back in the race where they put a new window in. And, of course, Elliott Sadler lined up. But thank you for the kind words. That's very nice.
Just an update on Chase Elliott. Up to 22nd position. Still in this thing.
Kyle Larson done for the day. Looks like he's going to finish in the 28th position, Jamie.
He has been checked and released, led 61 laps today. Your blocks, they were spot on. They were aggressive. But a few laps ago when we saw the big one, where did it go wrong at the front?
I haven't seen a replay, but from my vantage point, the 98 had a run, and I was expecting him to, juke left. So I went down there, and when I went back up, he was to my outside. So I feel like I wrecked myself there. I didn't have any damage and was going to be able to get a good finish. And then it's hard to see off 4 there, and I think the 2 guys in front of me got together, and I got collected in that one. So, yeah, I just hate that I cost our team a win or a good finish. Who knows if we would have won or not. But it would have been cool to get DC Solar in victory lane. Had a lot of fun today, led a lot of laps. Felt like I learned a lot and was able to block runs and stuff, and felt I did a good job there until the end. The runs were getting a lot faster and hard to block there once we got to the end when they were 3 wide and lots of pushing. So, but yeah, all in all, fun day. Just wish I could have got a good finish.
Job well done. It was entertaining while it lasted.
And Jamie, the one thing we hadn't seen today, the red flag until now, first one of the afternoon.
That's a great way to save fuel.
That helps a lot.
Overtime number 5. It's after the break. We're live on FS1 at Daytona.
Since the end of that second stage, it has been wild and rolling and full contact, to say the least.
Our record amount of cautions, as you mentioned just a few moments ago here at Daytona for this, the NASCAR Xfinity Series 300-mile event here, the Powershares QQQ 300. In fact, that number now 12. This is the 12th caution flag of the events involving Dylan Lupton on the back straightaway. Let's take you through the entire running order as best we can. As spin-up continues and they continue to reposition cars for the restart. We did know Tyler Reddick is the race leader over Ryan Reed. Elliott Sadler, Ryan Truex the top 5. Garrett Smith will restart in 6th. Ross Chastain 7th. Alex LeVay 8th. Caesar Vaccarella 9th. And Daniel Suarez, remember he ran out of fuel just a couple of laps ago. He's back in the top 10.
Cole Custer is 11th. 12th belongs to Spencer Gallagher. Jeff Green is 13th. Jeremy Clemens 14th. And 15th to J.J. Yaley. David Starr 16th. Steve White 17th. 18th to Brandon Jones. Matt Tifft is 19th. Vinnie Miller 20th.
All those cars are on the lead lap. As is Josh Williams in 21st. Chase Elliott against the lucky break here. He's 22nd and is able to pull up to the tail end of the field for the next restart. Ryan Sieg 23rd. Joe Nemechek 24th. And the last car scored on the lead lap. Dylan Lupton, who brought out this caution and is now a red flag because of the incident on the backstretch, is 25th. Spencer Boyd 26th. Daniel Henrik 27th. Kyle Larson, who is out of the race, is 28th. Ryan Ellis 29th. And Chad Pitchen is 30th.
Also out of the race, Justin Allgaier in 31st. Austin Dillon 32nd. Joe Jones 33rd. 34th to Joe Logano. 35th. Eric Almirola. All these cars out of the race.
Who's ready for a 5th overtime here at Daytona? You ready, Larry McReynolds?
Got to get through this red flag first.
We do have to get rid of this. We started the final stage of this race at 3:48, and if you check your clock right now, it is 5:48 on the East Coast. So 2 hours we've been trying to complete this final stage and complete this race. You got some coffee in there?
I do. It's amazing because if you look at the first half of this race, up through lap 60, we had 3 cautions. 2 of those were the stage ends, and we have now had 9 cautions. I think it comes down to exactly what you heard Eric Almirola say. Drivers trying to win at Daytona, just like we talked about in the pre-race.
We all spoke way too soon, so let's take a look back at the first 139 laps of this race and see how it all went down. As Larry McReynolds just said, the first and only for a long time caution came on lap 10. That was Austin Syndrich, and Tyler Reddick, who was leading the race, was involved in that.
Yeah, Daniel Suarez and Christopher Bell in the 20 took a big hit. Here you see Kyle Larson wins that first stage.
He did. 22 of 29 laps led. Then it was Chase Elliott who was able to make his way through the field. There were so many moves, just changing lanes back and forth. Chase Elliott would go on to win stage 2. He'll start 4th in tomorrow's Daytona 500. And then with 21 laps to go, Ryan Truex Jr. You see these two guys race in the 7 and the 88. They lock up, and both of those guys would be penalized by NASCAR for that. And then, of course, this happens. Ryan Truex Jr. forced below the yellow line.
Yeah, Ryan Reed forced him down there, and Ryan Reed was penalized, a penalty we do not see enforced that often.
No, we don't. 2 penalties that we don't normally see. We saw in those sequences. And then the wrecks begin, and they do not stop. We had a 2-car wreck on 1 restart.
And this was the 6th caution at lap 106. You saw Garrett Smithley there in the 00 car, as well as Michael Annett in the 5.
Elliott Sadler, who is still in this race, he's currently running 3rd, has had quite an eventful day, and this was just one of those events as he went around. So overtime, and Kyle Larson, who he won stage 1, certainly had one of the dominant cars. He was involved in the big one as 3 guys tried to connect on that outside line. And then we had another spin, and this is pretty much how it's been going for the last, I don't know, hour or so, Larry McReynolds?
Yeah, that was Spencer Gallagher, and then here's the caution with Kyle Larson heavily involved. Felt like he had a car that could win this race, and of course I think now the story is, as we go into all these overtimes, there you see the last caution there, Dylan Lupton in that 28 car, a hard lick, and that's why we're under the red flag. But now, you know, I started talking about an hour and a half ago that everybody was good on fuel. I had no idea that we're going to probably run close to maybe over 140 laps in what was scheduled to be a 120-lap race. But I still hold my ground, Shannon. So many of these laps, they've been run under caution. I still think even a lot of these guys that pitted at lap 83, I think they're still going to be good.
You're going to stick by that, right?
I'm going to stick with it.
Yes. So the guys running in the top 3, we have Tyler Reddick, Ryan Reed, and Elliott Sadler, have all had an eventful day, and they're all still out there and could possibly win this race. Let's check in with Matt, who is with the crew chief of the 1 team.
In the 1 pit, and Kevin Mendering, this feels more like the Rolex 24 last month.
Yeah, it's definitely been a battle of attrition, way more eventful than we wanted to, but the One Main Financial Chevy's been fast all day. Elliott's done a great job. We've had to overcome a lot. Fortunate to get some cautions here at the end, got our track position back, and now we got a chance for the win.
Fuel or lack of it, could that play into your favor looking at the cars that are around you?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a lot of guys up that are close on fuel. We have plenty of fuel, so we're in good shape.
Regan?
Well, the big question for all the crew chiefs, Shane Wilson, is do you have enough fuel to finish this race?
Boy, it's going to be close. You know, right now it's 143, but it's got to pick it all up. So it's going to be close, and what a wild day.
Adam Casgralla got his first career win last year here in the Truck Series race in an upset. He might do it again just now.
Yeah, he was running 7th at the white flag in that race after starting on the pole. He's going to be 5th on the restart. What do we anticipate here as we go to a 5th overtime in the season opener?
Well, I look for Elliott Sadler to give a big push. Now, that's what it's going to take for Tyler Reddick to clear and get the lead. And here's the question. Can Tyler stay disciplined? Can he make the right moves to block the run that we know is coming? That's what it's going to be all about, and that's what I anticipate seeing.
Kaz Gralla, can he squeeze up in there? Garrett Smithley, there's so many underdogs that can still be a part of this finish. It's going to be fun to watch, Adam. I don't know what to expect at this point.
On that last restart.
We might get a 6th
Well,
overtime.
we might. And on that last restart, remember the 9 got a big jump out in front of the field. We'll see what they're saying here.
Well, just make sure you're with that 1. Just make sure you're with that 1 and tell him you're going to wave your hand. If he says he's out, wave your hand so the 1 knows that we're out. You got it.
Making preparations in case they run out of fuel.
The spotters and crew chiefs aren't as confident as our Larry McReynolds is about our fuel situation.
I don't think Larry was very confident. Larry was confident an hour and a half ago. Larry's not so confident now, and I understand, Larry. I'll give you a hall pass.
Last time we came to Daytona, took 2 days to finish the race because of rain on a Friday night, and it was the 9 car that ended up in victory lane. That race also went to overtime. William Byron, the rookie, driving then. Today it's the rookie Tyler Reddick, who won last fall at Kentucky driving for Chip Ganassi, and here teammates helping one another. It appears Alex LeVay in the 36 is out of gas.
Here we go. This is critical. Elliott Sadler's going to give him a big push.
So does Ryan Truex. Nice start by Truex. They're going to be 3 wide before they get to turn 1.
Not wasting any time.
That's the potent 18 car of Daniel Suarez giving a push on the high side.
Really good for Ryan Reed.
That's Baccarella.
Ryan Truex pushing him.
Dead even here, guys.
Hang on to him, boys.
Advantage inside or outside in this situation.
The 16 and 11 broke apart a little bit. This is a solid push. Will be interesting to see what NASCAR has to say about this.
I think
Can't lock bumpers.
I think I see him popping it. I think he was on and off.
Sadler lets him go.
Now he's getting too far in front. Tyler's got to be really disciplined here. Manage these 2 lanes.
Through the tri-oval, got to get to the white flag. Tyler Reddick's been in this situation before. Next flag ends the race, whether it's the checkered or the caution.
This is when you drive the lap of your life to get a trophy at Daytona.
Oh, Tyler's getting really far in front. Elliott Sadler's going to lag back and get a big run here, but we also got the 11 and 24 forming up behind.
Here comes
one back.
Kaz Grala.
He's getting help. Coming to your mirror, coming to your mirror.
Elliott's going to get position on him. What's
Sadler
the 11
to the inside.
do?
Ryan Truex look to the high side. Reddick still out front. Here comes the 16 of Ryan Reed.
Oh, this is going to be a photo finish, guys. We're going to bring this one right down to the line.
Coming off of turn 4. High side of the white car is Reddick. Trying to get his 2nd career win of the season opener at Daytona. But to the inside, it's Elliott Sadler. A photo finish.
Tyler Reddick's going to edge him out.
And Tyler Reddick at the line pulls it off.
Woohoo!
Wow.
Look at that.
Junior Motorsports, another win on a plate track.
And Elliott Sadler, another 2nd place finish.
His 3rd in a row.
Wow.
5 of the last 9 at Daytona have gone to Junior Motorsports. And here we are right at the line.
Whoa.
By that much.
Wow. Elliott Sadler made a great move to get a side draft on Tyler Reddick. He was just a little too late on it. I mean, he missed it by a tiniest of amounts.
Well, that was worth the wait, wasn't it? Holy cow, what a battle.
Thing up here.
We said throughout the entire offseason
How do I put the brake?
how great this rookie class is. And it's Tyler Reddick who strikes first, winning at Daytona in the Powershares QQQ 300.
Congratulations. This is his 2nd win. He won last year in Kentucky.
One in the truck.
Yeah, one for you. Opening up 2015.
Yep. 2nd Xfinity win here. Good for you, Tyler. He's really worked hard for this one.
You got to like this kid because of how dedicated he is. So many times last year when he was sharing that 42 ride with Kyle Larson, even when he wasn't driving, he would show up at the racetrack, be around the team on the spotter stand.
We got the smoke going. Let's throw some burgers on the grill. What do you say, Adam?
And Tyler deserves a lot of credit. He made 3 good blocks in a row down the backstretch on Ryan Truex that kept him in position, and he didn't panic when Elliott Sadler got beside him in established position. Those moves put him in the right position to be able to capitalize and bring home the win.
Wow, did you see that toss of the flag right in the car? You know what else? You've got to be appreciative of the car he had under him, because when he broke out there, got 5-6 car lengths ahead, as the others closed on him, he had enough speed to hold that run off. So just a great car, a great job of driving by Reddick. That combination got him to victory lane.
Sadler, we know, is 2nd. Unofficially, Ryan Reed was 3rd. Kaz Grala 4th. Garrett Smithley ended up in a 5th position. Best of his career. Spencer Gallagher was 6th. Ryan Truex 7th. Suarez, Chastain, and Brandon Jones, your top 10.
Career best for Spencer Gallagher as well. Kaz started the season off last year in the trucks with a win at Daytona. A top 5 in Xfinity.
He's going to go reverse to victory lane. This is a little bit of a push, but here's the last lap we were talking about. Here's how he works with the 11 and the 1. He blocked the 11 to get here. That puts the 11 on his rear bumper, keeps him in line with the 1. He's going to get on the side of the 1 car to side draft up and get away from him. Now, Elliott's got the same opportunity, and Elliott just waits just a tiny bit too long. But Tyler gets it right back. Oh, my goodness.
It just looked like Elliott did everything perfect, and he gets beat at Daytona by 1 inch.
Wow. Tremendous finish.
Beautiful. Beautiful job by both those racers. Great aggressive running. Look at that nearly 4 wide for 4th position.
I think that was worth the wait.
In a 5th overtime, Tyler Reddick gets his 2nd career victory at Daytona. And despite the fact that he was a runner-up, an amazing comeback today for Elliott Sadler, Matt.
Absolutely. And Elliott, when you play it back in your mind, could you have tried to maybe make a move to stall him out earlier? Tremendous recovery.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how close to get to him, and my spotter was telling me we thought the 16 was coming too, so I didn't want to leave him the inside. And man, that's tough. I really wanted to win this race today. Most eventful race I've ever been a part of. I've spun out twice, got black flag for absolutely no reason, in my opinion, but that's the way it goes. But just proud of everybody on this One Main Financial team. They give me good stuff every week, and it's I'm proud of that Junior Motorsports car. Went to victory lane, but I wish it was us today.
Close last year, almost winning the championship. What kind of statement does this send for you and this team as we kick off the year?
Yeah, well, I mean, I told you this morning we were ready to go. We had a great offseason, guys working hard, and we know everybody's gearing up to come for us. So I think it says a lot for us to finish 1-2 today. We got a great team behind us. I love my guys in the shop. Henrik Motors give us great engines every week. I think the statement means that we're going to be around all year long. We're going to be tough. It's just that's a hard one to swallow. This has been a special place for a long time, and we've had some good runs here. Just seem to always finish second. A lot of seconds here, but
3.
Yeah, but no win. So we just it's frustrating today.
Just missed it by a matter of inches, guys.
I think all the kids around him have made him younger, and age truly is just a number when you look at Elliott Sadler.
And that performance, the way he's run the last couple of years, that'll take some years off of you as well.
Jamie?
How about Ryan Reed? No give up there. You guys had damage from the beginning of the race. Take me through the finish. I know it's not a win, but you're still happy.
Yeah, I mean, Daytona is just such an up and down race. You know, you kind of never know what you're going to get when you come here. Got involved in someone else's mess early on and just tried to recover all day. And you know, it's like we picked the right lanes late in the race and got ourselves up inside the top 10, and then the leaders wrecked, and next thing you know, we're on the front row. And I didn't think we had a good enough car to lead there just with all the damage, but we could push really well. And so I just focused on that. The drive down A1C.com. Ford Mustang had a lot of horsepower, and thank you to Roush Yates and Jack and Lily Diabetes, everyone who supports this deal to make it possible for me to go out there and chase my dream. And God, it's so fun. It's such a great way to start the season.
Ryan Reed kicks it off with the 3rd place finish, Adam.
All right, thank you, Jamie. And there's victory lane. Tyler Reddick there for the first time at Daytona International Speedway, Regan.
Tyler Reddick gets out of the car. These guys are excited. There's nothing like winning at Daytona Speedway. Gets his helmet off here. Tyler, you've won at Daytona before. Now you start your junior motorsports career with a win at Daytona. What's it feel like?
It feels amazing. Just got to thank BurgerFi so much for coming on board this year for these 2 races. This was a hell of a way to start the year off at Junior Motorsports. Big thanks to Armor Chili for coming on, and Exalta and Nationwide. But most importantly, got to thank Nationwide and Xfinity for the huge sponsorship they're getting out to this series, giving the guys like me the opportunity to run full-time for Junior Motorsports. It's a hell of a way to get my 2nd win, my 1st win for Junior Motorsports and the 100 Xfinity race.
You're in the playoffs, too.
I know. It's I kid you not, I was wondering, like, you know, we got to be smart all year long, get in the playoffs if we don't win, and we're already in, so we're good to go.
You get the rest of the year now to work with this team and get better. What do you think about that?
I think it's an amazing opportunity. I knew me and Dave were going to get along great. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get honed in, but I guess we're getting along pretty good right off the bat. I don't know what, we were having some problems all day long, we were having some issues with the motor. I don't know what exactly it was, but it held on all race long. It was getting worse at the end, but got a huge thanks to Elliott Sadler, Ryan Reed, Ryan Truex. Those guys were giving me huge pushes, and I was really struggling on the restarts getting going, and was able to hold him back there, and Ryan gave me one last really good push, get back ahead of Elliott, and just able to get him by matter of, I don't even know how close it was time-wise, but it was real close.
Big win for Tyler Reddick. Final thoughts, guys?
Junior Motorsports making a statement. Dale's team is strong, coming in here, going to Atlanta and on down the road. I look for this team to be the ones to beat this year.
Yeah, and that was an amazing race. We saw all kinds of things. We saw green flag stretches. We saw a bunch of wrecks. We saw some great action. But one thing I don't want to go miss, Garrett Smithley, top 5, first of his career. That's really cool. These guys that keep digging, they find a way to persevere. That's great.
Great fun for us. Good luck tomorrow. Shannon, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Adam. You know, top 7 drivers, Xfinity Series regulars in this race. And we talked about the 9 of Tyler Reddick earlier today in the pre-race, and this was exactly what he needed.
Yeah, I mean, that team, they've won the championship 2 out of the last 4 years. It's a great start for Tyler Reddick.
It's absolutely a great start for Tyler Reddick for Junior Motorsports. Congratulations. Don't forget, tomorrow, Daytona 500. Coverage begins 11 a.m. on Fox. Coming up next on FS1, NASCAR Race Classics, the 1998 Daytona 500. Larry Mack knows about that.